because I thought there was more stuff going on, but it's so much better than I thought.
7:01, is everybody ready?
Oh, yeah.
Tim Stromer is here and he asked if he could do a prayer before we start our meeting, and I guess if nobody has any objection. Is that fine?
It's okay with me.
All right.
Fine with me.
All right, let's pray. Father, I just thank you so much that you loved us and you called us according to your purpose. Jesus, you were literally called the Prince of Peace. So I just pray that your peace would preside over this meeting, over the city of Good Thunder, just over everything that we are. And I pray your peace would enter our hearts and lives. Your peace can guard our heart and mind, and we need that. We need your wisdom at this meeting. We need your counsel. And we just pray that you would just come and teach us, Lord, to have compassion, Lord, too, on each other. Lord, it's hard. We're humans, but our fight is not against flesh and blood. It's not against people. It's against principalities, powers, and rulers of darkness. So, Lord, we just pray that you would just come and help us. Help us to discern what's right and wrong. Help us to have compassion on each other. Help us to be able to know each other's hearts. And we just dedicate this time to you, and we ask your blessing on the city employees. We ask your blessing on the city council, and of course, all of the citizens of Good Thunder. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yep. And remain standing, and we can say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. All right. Yeah, that's, call the meeting to order. President, we already did the pledge of allegiance. Approve the agenda, additions, corrections. We have a new one versus one that came in our packet, right?
Yeah, there was just a gentleman that was gonna talk about water meters and he can't make it today, so I just removed him off.
How about the individual that was down there under citizens? Yes, council.
If she doesn't arrive, then I'll be addressing it.
All right. Any additions, corrections? If not, so I may make a motion to approve the agenda.
Can I add I just want to talk a little bit in new business about maybe a pickleball court,
Wow. What, Tom?
a pickleball court. It's just another kind of a game.
Huh?
It's not so high stress,
That's what?
not so high stress. More people can play it, but I just wanted to bring it up and we'll think about it. Pardon me? I think so, yeah.
I have something under a curb cut that was done during sewer break, needs to be replaced, and 7 manholes that are plugged up. Wanted to know what will be, who's gonna handle that? I'll put that under miscellaneous or
New.
whatever.
Manholes and curb cut,
Pardon?
manholes and curb cut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. With that then being said, somebody make a motion to approve agenda. I'm in second.
I'll second
All
that.
in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed, motion carried. Approval of the minutes and the bills. Start the long minutes, additions, corrections.
There was a couple spelling mistakes in the minutes, but you know, one was quorum. The word quorum. I forget the other one. Change anything. It was just a mistake in spelling.
One question on the bills. Does Chad normally come and talk to us when we're renewing our insurance policy? Because that renews next month, but doesn't he normally come and talk to us about?
He Usually does.
raising the equipment?
So maybe this is for informational purposes now, and then maybe he'll come next month.
Well, it renews like a couple days before our meetings,
Oh,
or
it
after our
does.
meeting, so.
Well, I think, were we gonna have a second meeting this month?
That's up to
We
you.
kind of talked about it and I don't know
If you
if
need
that
it for,
made a motion or not, but
if you need it for road stuff or whatever, potentially.
If we want to.
could be, yeah, because I'm gonna get a call yet tomorrow. They give me a.
I'm sure we'll approve it. It's a pretty big jump. I wanted to maybe have Chad explain some of that to us.
Yeah, looks like if we have a meeting in whenever, in
2 weeks.
a week or two. Whatever works for everybody.
Like the 25th of July, maybe?
2 weeks from
2
now,
weeks from now.
Yeah.
I probably can do that.
25th, right?
Yep,
Mhm.
that's good with me. If anybody,
Yeah, I can get here.
I just didn't know if we should just
Not a bad idea.
table that bill until he talks to us, or what do you guys think?
well, no, let's get it taken care of. And by right, we should go with the personnel policy. There's so many things in there that need replacing or redoing. So we could have a personnel meeting beforehand and then go into a second meeting. That work?
Sure.
So they start at 6 or whatever. If we go through the policy, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna take more than an hour probably. Chance, I mean, it could. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Earliest you can make it, Tom, usually is what? 5:30 or 6 o'clock better?
If I can make it by 5:30, probably.
You know, then if it did take 2.5, 3 hours, it'd still be 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
So does that sound like works for everybody? All right. Somebody want to make a motion since Ron brought it up right now then to announce the next council meeting on July 25th? Right?
Yep.
At 5:30 in the afternoon?
And is that a regular council meeting, a
No, that-
personnel meeting, or what are we gonna
A
do?
little bit of both.
personnel at 5:30 and then the council meeting at 7.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to know what the deal was. All right.
And the council meeting's just to address the streets or anything,
Or if by that time might be something else to, yeah, or have the,
or
Insurance.
the
Insurance,
insurance.
see if Chad wants to come on the
Okay.
25th, and then we can post that.
And then let's also post it for unfinished business from this meeting, so that.
okay, yeah,
If something
that's what
runs
we're
over
talking
tonight,
about all the time anyway.
that's what the attorney said we can do is if we need it, we can carry it on. you know, so.
On approval of the bills, do you want to remove the insurance number from the approval of bills until we talk to Chad at the next meeting?
Well, you know, you should
It
ask,
should be okay by then.
you should ask him if he's upping, you know, if they automatically up the cost of replacement. Everybody else's insurance policy does every year. Do we need to find that out if this went from $65 and just saying up to 87? Do we need to know that to make sure we are well insured?
Right, and he
Oh, yeah.
normally raises the tort limit, he comes to, we raise that tort limit too.
Because everything else, the cost of replacement, everybody's household insurance, I'm sure, has went up. So, I mean, that's what he'd be bringing to the meeting, wouldn't he?
I would think, yeah.
I would sure think, yeah. So with that all being said, somebody might make a motion then to have a council meeting? July 25th, 5:30, personnel and council meeting.
So move.
Someone second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed,
Aye.
motion carried. All right, that was still under the minutes. Was there any other additions under the minutes? And one thing I forgot to bring up, do we have anything on a update on a hiring? City maintenance
We've
is,
got one applicant.
are they coming here? Or are they going to Mike?
They're coming here and I forward them to my,
Okay,
well, to a secondary of jobs.good email, and then they go to Mike.
all right. Questions on the bills, anybody? The firemen, they must have had to buy a bunch of new stuff there. I take it for $10,000. Is that'll be divided between the townships and us, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
was a separate,
Pardon?
there was a separate thing for the fire department too.
Yeah.
Separate spreadsheet for
Yeah,
that.
Phil hasn't made the final approval yet, so they have not went out.
Because that's $10,000 there through Alpha Wireless, so.
I think they got some radios and I don't know what else, but I mean, I didn't know they had a couple radios anyway, or more, right?
It
Well, it says
says
two.
two portable chargers, programming.
Okay. So this other one must have been something different. It was the maintenance.
Anybody else questions on the bills then or the minutes? If not, somebody make a motion to approve it all.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the bills.
Someone second.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Please, motion carried. That guy gonna zoom in then?
Yep, he's there.
He's there. All right. I guess Larry Calhoun, we can talk to you right now.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, Ashley, yeah, thanks for coordinating this and having me available and coordinating with me on this. So Ashley and I have talked probably the last 8 to 10 months, and prior to that, obviously Heather and I worked pretty closely. We've had these funds since about the end of 2017. And, you know, we've had everything in fixed rates, just getting a fixed rate higher than the bank, obviously. And we've always kind of had things locked up from like a 12 to 18, 24-month time frame. And when COVID hit, obviously with everything, fixed rates really went to zero. There was a lot of uncertainties and just it hasn't been worth it to not have access to these funds for the rate that we would be getting. And with everything currently in the market and the Fed and raising rates, I've reached out to Ashley, periodically, and my rates have actually come back up to where they were pre-COVID. So I've sent her some fixed rates over the last couple weeks, and she wanted me to come tonight just to kind of speak about, the rates and what options there are, what type of income we could get, and kind of the rules and just everything that we had put together prior to COVID. So Ashley, I think I sent you my rates maybe on Friday.
Yep.
And I have them here in front of me as well. And they change a little bit every day, but obviously once we purchase one or hold one, we are guaranteed that rate. If rates go up or down, that is a rate that we get. So with the rates I gave you, and the balance that we have, we're realistically going to get around $15,000 to $17,000, $18,000 a year, just with where the current rates are. So kind of the thought process would be on, are there any funds that we need? Is there some type of laddering process that we wanted to do? Because obviously the little bit farther you go out, you do get a little bit higher of a rate. And then just cash flow. Previously we've had all the interest just compound and stay in the account. We do have the option of taking the interest and crediting it to a checking account or having some type of, budgetary or sweep option where once we hit a certain, interest generated, we can realize that in an account or whatever flexibility or choice that we would want for that. So these are issued directly from the Treasury. So they're fully insured, fully guaranteed. There's no management, cost on them, obviously, because all we're doing is purchasing it directly through the Treasury. And obviously, if something happens where the Treasury can't make that payment, obviously they just, unfortunately print more money. So they're obviously very secure with that. And like I said, fully insured, fully protected. Obviously, if we break it before the maturity date, there might be a fee or cost associated, but obviously we would think of that and have enough in reserve or set aside prior to having to do that. So, Ashley, did you have any questions at all?
I don't, but I'm assuming these guys probably do.
Okay.
Can you explain to us a little bit about that COVID stuff? I mean, they were paying basically nothing for 2 years and we didn't know
Correct.
what was going on at all. There was
Yeah,
no
so
communication.
when COVID hit, rates went to zero, and obviously the rates go to zero just to help spur borrowing. PPP loans. Mortgage rates obviously dropped. So everything just no interest generated. Like I said previously, we were locking these up for about a year, getting 2.25%. And then when COVID hit, they dropped literally to zero, or they just weren't really offered even. And now over the last 6 months, as the rates have been increasing, they've been going back up to where they were pre-COVID.
Understand that, Tom?
What is that rate right now? I can't, it's on there.
For 1 year, the rate is right around 2% or 2.1%. That's kind of
Okay.
where it's been fluctuating. And that's for a 1 year term. My 18-month term is about 2.25. My 2 year term is at roughly 2.4. And then my 30-month is at 2.5%.
This $791,000 or just say $790,000. Is this tiered or is it all in one lump sum?
It is all in one lump insured cash account currently.
So if we ever did anything, would we want to tier this? So in case we needed money, we could take part of this out, you know, because if you put it all in a lump sum, it's all in there, right? Then there for until the whatever.
Until maturity. Yep. So you could say, you know, Larry, you know, with our 790, we just want to keep, you know, 200,000 in cash. We know we're not making anything on it, but it's fully liquid and available. And it's not going to cost us anything to touch it if an emergency arises within that, you know, from now until next year. If there's something that arises, we can touch it and know that it's kind of there.
Was this ever tiered? I thought originally.
It was tiered. Yep. It was tiered. Yep. So we had, you know, roughly around 200 to 250,000 each. You know, we had 200, 250 in a 1 year, you know, 250 in a 18-month and then a 24-month usually. We didn't ever really go above that 24-month time frame just for planning and need. And, you know, the benefit of, you know, right now there's about a 0.25% annual difference in not having access to it. You know, that might not be worth it to not have access to it for that long.
I mean, when we listened to the auditor said to go some local banks, right? Did we ever get any feedback from local bank?
Yep, you guys.
Yep. So I work for Old National Bank actually, which used to be Anchor Bank.
We had a couple feedbacks. Minstar actually had the highest CD rate that we got back. I don't remember what it was. It was 2 months ago.
Yeah. So. Discussion, anybody else with questions? I mean, all this money is making no money. All this money will hurt us if we ever went to the grant process. I mean, it's not gonna help us.
But we should probably break it into thirds again, like you're saying.
I would sure think so.
We want
What
cash.
was the shortest term?
1 year.
1 year?
1 year. Yep.
Okay.
So like I said, I would, you know, if we wanted to have a tier, you know, we could keep some cash where it says, you know, I want, you know, 150, 200, whatever that comfort level is, just in that 0 to 1. Again, knowing that we aren't going to make anything on it, but obviously we're not making anything on it right now. And then, you know, look at maybe a 1 year and 18-month, or even just say, hey, you know, for this first year, we're just going to put everything in a 1 year and just see how things kind of go and then revisit it in a year or something too.
What's the return on a 1 year right now? Or the,
Just over 2%. So like I said, on the full balance at 790, we'd get about, you know, $15,000 to $17,000 within the next year or so.
That almost seems about like what we were getting before.
Yeah, 2% right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But should we have, how much do we have on hand right now as far as that's accessible?
Like in the bank,
Yeah.
taxes just came in, so around 600,000.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at that here on our cash balance summary.
So then we're pretty, really good there then.
Because say we found some I problems that, you know, we're supposed to
Yep.
keep searching for. If we just put in $100,000 for a year and some more for 2 years or whatever, tier it. But make that money available in case we, but at 7,000, what did came in, the Lewis County taxes?
About 200,000 came in. on taxes. So we have from Blue Earth County. So we've got about 600 right now.
And the LGA comes in when?
I'd have to look. I'm not sure.
Have we got that yet this year? Has that come in twice or once?
Twice.
Isn't it like July, May,
July.
July?
Was the LGA usually 170, Tom, or 183 or something?
It's supposed to be-
70.
I think it's supposed to be like 184 this year.
It's like
184.
2 installments of like 70 something, isn't it?
I'd have to double
No.
check, but
80.
Six hundred should kind of hold it, shouldn't we? If we, even if we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
Holiday Street tonight and stuff and maybe doing more than just, but that wouldn't all take place in 1 year then if we do an underground thing.
Right.
So,
So we got May's taxes 1st of July. So October's would obviously come around 1st of November then. So there would be another $200,000 plus the LGA. So I mean, I guess I'm open up suggestions how we should tier it or.
I think you break it into thirds, like you said, and do a 1 year and 2 18 months, maybe. We haven't touched it ever in 5 years, so we could actually do a 1, 2, and a 30 month, because that 30 month really pays good. Well, 2.5%, compared to the 0 we were getting.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, nothing's paying good. I mean,
So by the 1st of October, what we get from Blue Earth County and LGA would be about $580,000. So with what we got on hand right now, we can do a lot of
yeah,
business.
that was my main concern is that we got
And not touch this money again.
this year anyway, or next year even probably, unless we really got some problems. And then who knows, that could happen anytime.
Right. And what's the penalty
Yeah.
if we have to pull it out? I mean,
It depends on, how much interest you've already credited and, let's just say on 100,000, it might be $500. So,
Oh,
it's not like it's, astronomical, but depending on, if you did a 30-month tomorrow and you closed it out in a week, I mean, obviously that could be substantial. But, if you have like 6 months left on a 30-month, it's not going to be, the interest that you've already been generated is still going to exceed what any cost would be to touch it.
okay.
I would think we'd do it. Why don't we do 3 tiers and maybe 12, 18, and a 30? Tom, what do you think?
I'm okay with doing 12. I don't know if we want to go too much more.
No,
I don't-
you just want to do 3 at 12 then?
Yeah, I would.
I wouldn't go to 30 for sure.
Because you think it might go up and we're locked in
It's
there?
gonna-
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's got to recover, you would think here pretty soon.
Everybody's decision then?
We don't want to do one at 18?
Pardon?
Do we want to do one of them at 18?
You only gain in a quarter.
Is that it?
1/4%.
Okay. Well, then after a year,
I
see
mean-
where everything's at.
We have plenty of cash.
Right.
I mean, you could do.
Yeah,
that.
because in 1 year, these do not, so these do not automatically renew. So once they hit maturity, they just go straight back to cash, like they did obviously pre-COVID, and then we have full discretion to do whatever we would like.
Okay.
What kind of money was it making before COVID, say back 5 years ago? Do you have
Yeah,
that
so it was around that. Yep. So I had anywhere from 2 to 2.6% we were making on those, but I think there was only a couple under 2%. Most of them were always consistently over 2%.
I just remember like 14 to 17,000 on average.
Yep.
for what was coming in. Okay.
Somebody want to make a motion then to tier it? However how it was described, put one in a year and tier the other stuff, equal amounts or however.
Yeah, I'd break it into thirds and do you think we should put 1 and 18, 2 and 12, or what do you think?
No more than 18.
Right?
No.
Or do you want to put all 3 into 12?
That's what I'm kind of wondering. For 1/4%.
You're not gaining.
And then we can reevaluate it in a year
Yeah.
when it expires.
One thing, it would force us to look at it again.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's good because
We don't do this every day.
I guess I'd make that a motion then, Larry, that we break it into thirds. and put
Okay.
it in, 3 12 months.
Okay, perfect. So what we can do though is we can actually have a partial distribution or partial liquidity if we need to. So we can do, if they're all the same timeline, we can actually do two separate. And then let's say we did a 500 and a 291. If we needed anything out of that 500, let's say we needed 100, we can do a partial sell to free up that cash. So we can keep it all in that same timeline and still keep it consolidated. And then I think I can usually get a little bit higher rate. We get like a rate increase for having more assets in a specific treasury, if that makes sense. So like I quoted you at 2%, we might be able to get, 2.1, 2.15 with having more of a purchase, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
We get like a rate bump for having it be in a jumbo. So yeah, we can do that, no problem. So I would take care of everything tomorrow. And then I would actually, let me just make sure I have PO Box 97. Is that still correct?
Yep.
Yep. So that's where all the mailing goes. So that is where the confirmation would come for that 12-month. And then Ashley, I can send you a copy of it as well. I just email you over the confirmation.
Okay.
Do you want to revise your motion there, Jim?
I guess I'd amend that if that's fine with you guys to doing a 2/3, 1/3, still on the 1 year.
can we do this on a motion or we gotta have a printed resolution?
That's what I was wondering if wouldn't it be good enough or should it be a resolution?
Well, it seems like this is $700,000. This is like the biggest motion we've done.
Yeah,
How did we do it the last time?
I got an email actually when Heather was there on October of 2017. I got an email from Heather just saying, hey, we had a meeting on Monday, whatever that previous Monday was, and we motioned to add another 250,000. And she just sent me an email like on her letterhead at a request to transfer money out of a, she might have dropped a check off, or we might have a linked US bank account actually is where those funds have come from in the past.
Because this is an ongoing business, Tom. I mean, we're not really moving anything, we're just renewing really, right? You still think resolution?
No,
well, can we check into this and put that motion on hold, table it until,
25th?
and find it out and do it on the 25th?
yeah,
We can find out from the attorney or the accountants, how should we do this to make sure it's done right?
So we got the right motion or
Resolution?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Does that sound good with everybody?
I'm fine with that.
Does that work for you? Handling money? Waiting 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, that's no problem at all. Yep. And then if the rates change, we can just communicate that obviously with me and Ashley or whosoever.
Let's do that.
Okay.
That way we'll know it's doing it by the book.
Yep, and rates aren't going down obviously, so they'll probably stay pretty similar.
So you said back when Heather was here, there was how much moved?
250.
We started this account with 750,000.
Okay.
We moved.
So initially it was a little over 500, and then there was 250 back in October of 2017 that was moved over. So we've only done 2 deposits, no withdrawals.
All right.
So we've made about 41.5 since we've started this.
All right. Everybody happy with that then?
Mhm.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll get back to you in 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
All right.
Yeah, have a good night. Thank you.
Joe.
so we need to make a motion to table this, or you're just gonna,
Yeah,
how do
better.
we do this?
There was really a motion, never got a second. It's probably dead, but we just talked about tabling it. So we'll have her research the proper thing and then we'll make the motion in 2 weeks
So it'll just be on the agenda then
Yeah.
next time?
as an action item. Yeah.
All right with everybody?
Yep.
All right, moving on. Fire department. May there was 9 calls. June there was 8 calls. Lewis County Sheriff Department, we had 54 hours of patrol. The bills, it's in the bills there, if anybody wants to look at them.
All the bills.
Any questions on those 2 departments?
Nope, not me.
City maintenance, questions on that? Everybody got questions on the broken water main?
Yeah, what are we doing to fix the streets? Like, because we have grass growing out of the areas that were fixed. Is there
What was this?
a reason why we haven't resurfaced the roads where it's been fixed?
Yeah, because we're on the waiting list with all the people.
Waiting list?
yeah.
Got it.
Ron and I met with him a week ago.
Yep.
And he was supposed to get back to us then about to Ron today, but did you get a hold of him?
Tomorrow morning, he's calling me back.
Tomorrow
But
morning, okay.
we're gonna be talking about that later too. Yep.
About 6 weeks, we've been kind of working on getting those patches done, so.
Okay.
I guess under city's maintenance, this water main broke here. It had 3/4 inch lines that fed this building because this was the old fire department. We couldn't figure out what they were all doing. But they uncovered it and they were all hooked to a Y, and it comes into this building in 1.25 inch line or 1.5 inches, something like that. So it was quite a, I don't know if you're looking at an octopus or whatever underneath the ground, nobody, but they cut out 5 feet.
Yeah.
Because it blew out the bottom of the water main.
Yeah.
So that was all fixed. Is that gonna be our call to fix that, or will Blue Earth County fix that?
I was trying to get a hold of Jake for one, because he said they were gonna be in here patching, so I was gonna just let him know that, tell him that we'll pay it for it if we have to. The county, if they got our charges, we'll do it. And that's just the way it is.
Did the county spray all that white paint out there and then?
I marked everything so they can mark,
Okay,
come in and locate. Yeah. Same thing down
yeah.
there, I marked all that.
Yeah, do we know what happened with that?
Not
Just
until,
get undermined somehow and washed through?
don't know, until Boning gets here. They're so
So
busy that
weird.
just, and yeah.
So with this water main and this big bump out here, I have been maintaining it with my own stuff. Rock from the city. Am I in right or am I wrong to do this?
The Bobcat works a lot better at it than a loader, because you're dragging it crossways. Is the main thing, is a
Because
reason.
we have a letter here that later on we'll discuss that things have been done wrong for a long time. So how do you want to proceed with this out here that gets a lot of traffic every day? How do you want to proceed? Leave it go?
I'm fine with you maintaining it.
But can I do it?
That's.
Kennedy's told you guys multiple times that you guys technically are not supposed to do any of that.
So who would have took care of business out here the day that broke? If Ron and I didn't do it on a Friday afternoon at 4:30 for an hour and a half, and Lee Hiller, who would have done that business?
I don't know.
So would have just ran out through the street until Monday morning?
I guess.
Wow.
It's not my choice. It's not my call. I'm
just wondering.
just telling you what Kennedy said. I don't mind that you did it. I'm glad you answered the phone when it was going on.
Well, I mean,
But we gotta have.
we need input here.
I feel like he said in the past, you do it, you just don't talk about it or whatever, and don't ask for compensation for it. And we
I mean,
can't hire.
It was an emergency. I mean, there was no getting
Yeah.
around it.
And I think you being the mayor and it was an emergency, I feel like it's appropriate. Because that's an emergency. What happened was an emergency. And then if the roadway is bad for all the truck traffic we get, I would consider that an emergency because that could cause damage to a truck.
Well, we're very fortunate when we redid this 2 years ago to put another curb stop over there on heading to Tom's house. Because the only thing that was out of water for 2 days was City Hall.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'd have been in trouble. We'd have paid more money to have Bonings come and fix it on Saturday morning, which when we found out this was the only building that didn't have water, we called them back and said, do not come Saturday, because we'll pay more money. But I guess I just want to know the direction, what authority, how should we decide this?
You have the authority as mayor to mitigate the emergency. So like calling Boning or whatever, that you have that authority.
Yeah, and he said that before too.
However, the ongoing maintenance of the patch probably doesn't constitute an emergency in technical terms. And so we should probably discuss getting someone to come through town. Not anybody on council, come through town and redo those patches every other day, once a week, until they're patched. Because that's the only way you're gonna stay out of trouble, I think.
And the county would probably do that too, as far as that goes.
Well, maybe.
I'm just saying, I
Yeah,
mean, if
yeah.
you get a hold of them, they got the shop right up here. They'd probably come down there with a loader and.
And they'll charge you back to the city, I suppose,
Yeah.
maintaining our
For
street,
sure.
even though it's a county road.
Yeah, well, maybe they would. I don't know the
Yeah.
ramifications, but we know there's another patch down there by the elevator too,
Yeah,
but-
that's our street though.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so, and I did put some rock in there today too, where it washed out next to the gutter. I suppose I was wrong in doing that. Sorry. I just figured I didn't want a kid riding a bicycle down there and falling in a 3 or 4 inch groove and tipping over and cutting their knees, whatever it may be.
I'm just saying that we probably should try to make some arrangements to make that happen.
So who are we gonna find to do this?
Well, he was saying maybe the county would do it.
Yeah, or I never talked to Jake about it. He'd maybe do it after work.
Well,
when he gets
that
home.
would work too.
If
Yeah.
that goes, we can do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do. I mean, it's hours, it's all gonna take us to do them couple and be done with it. Once a week, or twice a week, depends on the rain,
It's just,
so.
in order to do it right, you don't want to be involved.
So do that. I'll get a hold of him and see if he can, like I say, it's a hour to get somebody to come out and whether the county really do it or not, that's him, whatever. But I'll ask Jake and then the same thing, I was going to tell him that if they want to charge us for that blacktop, we'll have to pay for it. Rather than have our guys more or less do it unless they get here before them, but that's.
And it needs to be brought back this way because it
More
lifted the
blacktop's
road
gotta
up
be taken
quite a
out.
little.
Yep.
And it needs to be taken to the south. It just needs probably a 20-foot section in there
Oh,
now,
yeah.
because it's undermined.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we can, if you want to decide something else, that's just my idea. I'm just thinking that. Because if the attorney was here, he would probably say, oh, it's just a little patch, don't worry about that. Now, that's one little thing. That's what he'd probably say, but later on, he would write a letter and say that you're wrong. So,
I think he would
That's
say he
what's
was wrong if he charged the city. I don't think he would say he was wrong if he just does it periodically as it's needed. That's my opinion.
in any case, you don't want to be involved. I don't think.
Probably not if you get hit out there too. I mean, granted, he's got insurance, but you could get nailed by a.
Yep.
You know,
There's the issue. That is the issue right there.
Yep.
Really.
Right, yeah,
You have insurance, we know that.
right, but
He'd be
it may
covered
not be
under our
the same.
volunteer, don't you think?
well, even though the Bobcat is covered by insurance, a vehicle. So if, somebody, I backed up and I didn't see him and dented their fender, it's all covered, but I guess, you know what, in reality, it's easier for me.
Yeah, it is.
Just not do it. For
That's
30 years, I've been doing it wrong.
what I'm just saying. It's-
Yeah. Huh. So, all right.
I don't think anybody's complaining about you helping out, Rob.
so
Oh, and then,
he's gonna take care of from now on, up this piece out here.
Pardon me?
He'll put rock in here then? I don't get a hold of Jake then, or you want me to
No,
go? to Jake?
Jake will.
Okay,
Yeah, Jake or the county or somebody.
okay, all right. I'll get a hold of them tomorrow.
If neither one of them can do it, then we'll have to get somebody else to do
Might get a hold of Jake tonight unless we get out here at midnight.
it.
okay, so that brings us to another question. After that, the individuals that worked on the water tower that same day or the day before cranked the valve open all the way, and Severance only does it a turn and a half. An individual down the street come and said their water is real red, so I took it upon myself to flush that main and this one. And it was waves of red rust. Now, I spent until 9 o'clock that night flushing all the water mains. I flushed one by you, Tom, 3 times to get it out of there. I flushed until 9 o'clock. The next day I did 6 more. Now, does that constitute an emergency there too? So the
Yep.
individuals in this town do not get
Yep.
a lot of rust in their house?
Yeah, that definitely does.
I'm just glad I was at the lake.
Yeah, that definitely does.
So just wondering.
No, definitely. I think, that
Mhm.
in agreement with that is,
So I mean, if that happens again, I did not call anybody. It was Friday afternoon. I think Ron tried to get a hold of Jake. He didn't answer the phone that day. He was sick. So do I need to call other people to see if this is all right? Or, by then it could have been in a lot of people's houses. Because I don't think it was 5 minutes after the individual come to Ashley. Ashley came out to me while I was filling the hole. And I went, I cranked them open because it was a lot of rust.
And what happened there is having that valve open, it sucked the iron all out of the filter
Oh, my
and that
goodness.
went into the
So it
main.
back flushed it basically, huh?
They
No,
created
back
the
flushing
vacuum and
pushed it up.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
sucked it down. With such pressure that
Right.
it just pulled the iron out of it. So
Did they let them know that they did that?
and
And
that's his color. It's his color then.
Well, and you've got emergency powers, and if you think it's an emergency, then
Well, it was.
you can do
yeah,
that.
I consider that
You'd have-
definitely.
Otherwise, we'd had problems with places where they had water softeners, stuff plugged up and stuff too, probably. So.
On appliances.
Yep.
Robert, I think the only person you have to let know really is Severance, because I think if we're flushing mains, he has to let the state know.
Yeah.
Or one of those people know,
I
but
talked to him the next day.
yeah, I think that's
and-
the only person you have to notify
In
about.
fact, I talked to him that same day. He came and I told him how long I ran these and yours. And I said, I bet I've went through 20,000 gallons of water already. And he looked at it and he goes, yeah, probably.
Mhm,
Because it was a lot of rust.
mhm.
So
So not only did they open it too far, they left it open. Is that the
They didn't
case?
Yeah, well, they didn't catch it, yeah.
they, instead of just putting it back where they got it, like a turn and a half, they went all the way over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And left.
And that's what Seven was up here and that's what he said that what happened there.
So they a back charge to that vendor who messed that up? Because they have a bill for the stuff they put.
We're not gonna pay them.
I'm just,
Or that's what Brian said.
I just don't know. Is there some
I
recourse
think-
because
I
they
think
messed
he
something
told
up
you.
and cost us time and money?
Put the bill aside when
Yeah, he
he
said-
comes and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, he said, don't pay that bill until we hear from him, because the
Yeah.
way they left the valve too on those.
For the second time,
Yeah.
they've made an attempt to put the pump in right.
Yeah.
They
Through that.
left it on wooden pallets in there the first time. Now it's on a metal stand with rubber in between, but not securely bolted. So it's hanging by the flanges.
So it still vibrates and.
So
And that's,
he called him again.
Mhm.
they should know better.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
That's their
I
job.
mean, it was a couple of young guys though, because I was in there when they were starting to do it and I left and, but yeah.
All right. Anything else under city maintenance? Bob, you mowing grass? Is everything working all right for you?
Today, you know that on the east side of the park by the Catholic Church, there's a drain
Yep.
by the tree. Cover's gone.
It's what?
Cover's gone. It goes over the top
Okay,
of it.
It was a round
It's
like a big
six-
pipe type.
Oh, in the
on it.
park.
Yeah.
It's a 6-inch tile going down,
Yeah.
and there's 2 pipes running off that, but I looked before I came down here. Now I looked around a little more. And I don't know where the hell the cover is, but it ain't there.
So who will we hire to fix that now then?
We just gotta throw something on top of it. We could, one of the manhole covers that got grates.
Yeah, but we can't do that.
Okay, yeah.
well, I would consider that an emergency because
For 30
somebody,
years, we did that, but we can't do that.
somebody could fall in there.
This
I would
is an
consider that an
emergency.
So that's emergency too then?
I would consider, it, yeah.
Yeah.
Ron, you up to?
Step in it.
Yeah, somebody could get hurt.
Okay.
I'll tell you which one and you lift it.
And another thing, down at the ball diamond today, the black things that go around the things, you got these rods holding them together. They're pounded in the ground on the end of every one of them. Things that's holding around the playground.
Oh, the playground equipment, yeah.
Yeah, well, there was a rod pulled out of there today, and I tried to stick it back in. Of course, it wouldn't line up with the holes, but I mean, these kids, they wreck things. Well, why are they pulling the rods out down there?
So again, is that,
Big, that's putting those two barriers together,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I couldn't push it back in the ground, you know, I'm gonna have to go down there with a big hammer, and
Mhm.
drive it back in.
Well, that would be the thing to do, is have Bob do that.
can you do that, Bob?
I can do that.
Because
There is a post, pounder up there on the.
Other thing, do we have a trimmer?
Yep,
yeah, I believe so.
yep.
Like a weed whip?
I've never really seen, I've been using my own. like over here. the
Okay.
corner,
No, I'm sure there's one up there. I
Over
know
the park, I've been trimming the stuff with my own.
it's on the south side or the south side of the main shop.
Is it battery-
On-
batteries?
no, it's on those shelves.
Gas.
It's on the,
Unless they've replaced it when I use gas.
but it's on the shelf back there.
It's on the shelf on the south side, I believe.
Yep.
Anything else in the lawn mowing division?
I ate a lot of grass today.
He's the only guy we got.
I know.
Are you on grass? I'm on grass.
You just keep your eyes open, Bob.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll be doing the lagoon and the rest of the town tomorrow.
All right, nuisance letters under city clerk.
Do we want to talk about the Holiday Street under city maintenance?
Oh, you can, yeah, as long as you got a little bit information.
But other than we had WW out and we looked at compared the two, and they come back out and told us how they would do it, which it's gonna cost more because it's 4 inches instead of 2, but it'll be crowned where otherwise it'd been flat again, and that's where you get your potholes. Sooner or later, you're gonna get them. And but then when he was flushing the hydrants, there's only a 4-inch main going down there from the corner up here all the way out to Barnard's Corner. And there's not much pressure out there, and we've gotten, the houses seem to have enough pressure. Nobody's ever complained that I know of. And but when you get down to the fire hydrant down below the hill, it just squirts out a little bit. There again, we want to spend whatever it's going to be, $75,000-$80,000 on that road, and then have the, should we replace the main now, which would cost the same that this one did, and I don't remember what that was. Do you know? Remember, Ashley, the county road when we did that?
No, because we cost shared, so, or did we, no, we paid.
Well, that we paid for the main. Yep.
I think it was over.
Because I measured it today and it's about the same footage, and not go down the hill, just out to the intersection.
The thing is, Tom, you suggested, to go out there in that southwest corner and get some houses. So after I drained, each hydrant there, the water just kept going down. When I got down to Harlan's, it didn't go out of the hydrant that far. It just falls out of the hydrant. All the rest of them, you can shoot it across the street. So with that being said, do we spend money, blacktop that road and determine if we could build a subdivision out there that should have been updated so we could circulate, make that a whole circle? Is it, what kind of money? A lot.
Like I say, it'd be about the same as this, because you got hydrants involved. They're 4-inch hydrants, so I think you got to put new ones in 6-inch, and it's 4 or 5 of them.
There wouldn't be any other way to loop that out there unless you went down Hiller Drive and hooked it up back down there at Paul Barnard's.
Unless you go across the field someplace, but
Yeah.
it's just a matter of.
Wouldn't we have to have a public hearing like we did last time for that road, remember?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're the ones who said they didn't want to do all that work.
I was gonna say, this is sounding like my road
This
project.
is, no,
This here would be our.
it's a fix,
Just,
even the overlay.
Main
but if you're down there doing a main,
Well,
you
same
better
as
be
here
doing
though.
feeders.
Same as here though.
So just so you know, people have asked me
Same thing.
from my street, if that would just be a fix or whatever, then why wasn't our street just a fix or whatever?
No,
I couldn't say.
I would have to agree that this is not a fix. This is a new construction.
Yeah.
You're taking out a system and replacing that system and then adding more to it for
That's what we did here,
anticipation.
But I think we.
I mean, we put a new main here because of the main.
I think we had to because the county was gonna be doing stuff there, right
They
here, right?
wanted- Well, we wanted,
They required it, yeah.
the main, yeah, they required it, but then the main had breaks in it too. So just a matter of, how much money you want to spend or whatever, and if you put it to the property owners, it's gonna get turned down again. I
I
can
mean,
almost
it's not-
guarantee it,
Yeah,
Well, I
Is
mean,
the city gonna pay for that main then? Is that what you're saying?
I would think we'd have to,
well, I don't know that. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we didn't have a choice on our street.
but we paid for the
But that's-
underground. On this street.
We did,
All the
but
way,
each, like each property was like
we paid.
ranged from 9,000 to 15,000 in an assessment.
Right, but
So, I
that
mean-
wouldn't be that way here though, because the road isn't going to be rebuilt with curb and gutter and sidewalk and all of that. You're not talking that. You're just talking an overlay,
Just, yeah,
a rebuild, you know, or a
If you're digging up a water
Yeah.
main, you'd want to put new sewer in there too. I mean, you're down there already.
that's been
That's-
televised. I'm not too sure if it, I don't think it's been lined, but it was televised and it was in good shape.
Right.
And you can line it then. See, so that's just, to me, is a kind of a no brainer as far as these sewers. And we figured that out over the last 6-7 years. You know, that we saved a lot of money by just lining.
Well, the
Well, that one
county,
down there was 140,000 for the new sewer and lining it was 40.
Right.
yeah, we relined a whole bunch there when the county told us to replace it.
Yep, and that, you know, that saved $100,000 right there.
oh, yeah.
So I mean, you're saving it by lining it now. Unless they're really bad, then you're.
I just don't know if that would classify as fixing.
But do we,
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, right now it's working. It has worked for the past 50 years.
No, it is, yeah.
You know what I mean,
The only thing is.
but is it adequate, Tom,
no,
in this day and
it
age?
isn't adequate.
No.
I mean, that's
And
the
could
reason
the
that
city
was-
be sued for not providing adequate water for a fire? Maybe. That's
And we've been,
possible.
you know, we've been treating that as a country fire
Yep,
forever.
always all tanker water.
Yep.
Yep.
Tanker goes
But-
down and fills up.
The fire chief is well aware of it because I told him, I telling about it, and he goes, yep, but we also have a plan to hook up by the gas station, that new hydrant that the city ran down the alley
Yeah.
and dead ended there, because that's a big one.
Mhm.
And they already have, if they ever had a fire, they already know to drop hoses there and head that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, is it make it right?
No,
I mean, that was one of the reasons why they at that time said our road needed to be done. Because the pressure in the fire hydrant wasn't the way it should have been. I'm
And-
just telling you, I've had.
No, I know, I wasn't in on any
And
of
they're
that.
they're not gonna be happy.
Hmm.
You know, I just want to play the devil's advocate and just have you be aware of that and that'll happen.
I actually think that we have to visit the code before we could enter into something like that.
I mean, do we allow them to come in and put an overlay, or, you know, or do we explain to the individuals on that street that, hey, we might have another issue. We don't really want to put an overlay this year because, you know, of
Well, I think
water.
that'd be okay, my opinion.
Or they would do like here, you could do the whole,
Don't rush into it.
I don't see any reason, yeah, I don't
Get
see
a
any
plan.
reason.
I mean, here they could, like they did here, everything could be done at one time. You could put the,
Yeah,
but it's gonna cost more because you're getting down in the ditch with the Packers and the ditch is this wide instead of this wide.
we know it's gonna cost more.
Right, so,
The cheapest way to do it is the way you're describing it.
yep,
Absolutely.
Yep.
But it's not maybe the right way. So
and then
that's
WW
the way it
two,
is.
yeah. And they might not be able to overlay it this year neither. They said they got some
Right.
big contracts coming and they don't know if they're gonna get them or not, but
And they did have a second option that we could put 2 inches down for the winter.
Yep.
And then put the wear course on next
on
summer.
top, yeah. So that,
They had time to do that, the 2-inch.
Well,
I'll know more tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah, okay.
that's iffy too.
Yeah.
But they
They
didn't
didn't do any blacktop until we started putting the main down there.
Yeah. The only thing we maybe
It's a
should be
waste.
doing is the patching.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely gonna be done. No, we talked today, that's definitely gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah, because they can do that in an afternoon. They can come a couple afternoons rather than
They just
bring
wanna
the whole
get it.
crew in and, you know, just do the street.
I mean, I would consider lining a sewer, repairing, fixing.
Yeah.
It's got a problem. You're fixing it. This isn't
A
this is a
replacement,
problem. This is a total replacement here.
but it's to make it better for the future.
Right,
We know we could live with it the way it is right now
right.
for 20 years.
Yeah.
But how about if the city goes out there in the southwest corner and puts in 24 houses?
And like say that Maine's
Yeah.
probably 60, 70, 80 years old,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah. I can't believe it hasn't
Bro,
caused us a problem.
it's probably the pressure has something to do with that.
Maybe,
I don't know for sure, but Yeah.
maybe.
this here water main here was buried in wash sand.
Huh.
And this was built, did you figure in 1960?
Early 60s.
Yeah.
Early
Yeah.
60s?
Yeah.
And Roger DeLiggy probably put that in there, but it was encased in like wash sand.
Hmm.
So they knew how to do it back then.
just ask Stevie. He shoveled and shoveled and it came in on him. And he shoveled and shoveled.
So,
At any rate, why?
I'm sure we'll have to get the engineers involved in that and.
Oh, yeah, you're doing main
and
and-
all that, yeah.
Yeah,
Because you got to bid it.
because I think for that, we're forced by code to assess.
Yeah.
So that means public hearing and all of that kind of thing. That's different than doing, 10 feet of curb or,
Well, they're
lighting a
getting,
sewer.
we didn't do that out here though. The city paid for that.
I know, but the
Water
county came in and said, you will do this,
Right.
right?
But I mean,
This isn't that
Do we
way.
pay for the top, like the curb and the gutter and the overlay too?
We cost shared all that. We paid a very small percentage. We paid like
Right,
10%, they paid
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
Okay, and we were kind of forced to do it.
I think ours was $300,000, wasn't it, to the county? I believe it was 300 and some thousand odd dollars.
Maybe right, yeah.
It's about the same footage.
Cause that road at one time we had a bid was $500,000 when they were doing water sewer. Curb gutter the whole 9 yards.
Right.
And that was,
It'll be that much now.
8 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'll get a phone call in the morning and we'll, they're gonna see if they're about overlaying it and we can decide on this
no,
25th too, if we want to.
if we visit,
Definitely do the patching though.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I already told them today, we're doing the patching.
Yeah.
After tonight's meeting,
right,
because it's got to be done.
Because over by the Catholic church, that keeps caving down.
yeah.
So that has to be
Yeah,
done.
that's got to be done.
On this side of the curb, that has, or park, it has to be done. In front of Jeff Bucks, that brings up another question. There's 8 foot of curb there. How does the city council want to replace that?
Where's this at?
My neighbor to the south, Glenn Zuri's house, now his name is Jeff Buck.
Oh, okay.
There's 8 feet of curb gone there.
We fixed the sewer there.
It could have been done today with that curb replacement. Is that all right down there where you're at now,
I
Jim?
haven't looked at it, been gone all day.
Okay, so I mean, it could have been done there, but I figured we'd better wait and ask for council's approval. Or do you want to hire another contractor to come in and pour a half a yard of cement? He's gonna be working at Kelvin's storage all week.
Well, if we busted it up and cut it out to do a repair, I think it's our responsibility, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
our, it was behind the curb in our area that need to be redone.
Okay. So we should just replace it.
I guess he's asking, should we just have, what's his name do it right now, since he's in town?
Mariano. Because in his letters here, there's a complaint that is substandard work, so I'm just wondering. Just asking.
I'm all for having him do it, because that's the way to get it done here for now.
Right. And he's here.
He can do it.
Brings up another question. If he wants that dug out, who's gonna do it? He would have to bring it in, or can he hire me to do it?
No.
Can't hire
Get
me.
involved in that.
He can't subcontract to me to dig that 2 bucketfuls out of there.
I hear you, but I wouldn't do it.
Wow. You know, all this stuff that we talked about is gonna cost the city a lot more money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, but that's
The way it goes.
that's the way we want it.
That's the way I want it.
The attorney said you can do the work if Mariano put it out to bids and you won the bid.
So do we have to bid 8 foot of curb?
I'm just telling
No, I'm
you.
asking, do we have to bid 8 foot?
That's right.
No.
That's true. That's what we'd have to do if you were a subcontractor to him. Now, if he had anyone else do it,
If you have what?
anyone else
Yeah.
besides another council person do it, then it's no problem. It's just if you're a council person.
Okay, I have a son and a grandson. Can they use my equipment to do it?
I don't know.
It's trying to save the city. Are we gonna make that a $500 deal or we're gonna make that a $150 deal?
I
Huh?
know. I'm not trying to be difficult.
I'm trying to be, I've been conservative my whole life. I do not waste public's money. I do not waste my money, and to change my mindset on this. oof,
Yeah, oh, I get it, but I don't know the answer to that.
Well, he can hire my son, right?
Yeah.
I don't see why
I
not.
don't see why not. I mean, if everybody agrees to that tonight, let's stick to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like running the skid steer down there and getting a couple of buckets full of,
No, I understand.
I mean, like the grandkid can do it, you know, too. I mean, it just,
I mean, it just,
As long as it's not to you.
yeah.
I feel it's more conservative to get it done while there is somebody in town than to hire somebody out of town for this one little half yard pour.
No, it is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
No question.
But wow,
Just trying to, sort through all the smoke.
It doesn't have to be bid because it's not over X amount of dollars. So it doesn't have to be put out to bid. You can just decide to do it.
Yeah, we can just
Yeah.
decide to do it.
well, we have to put it back.
Yeah.
It's just like across the street, that individual had their go bad here, what, 2 summers ago? Now that curb is sunk there too. You know, that should be replaced. But then that's the old square curb that it should really go around the corner and to make it all nice and round. But I'm not saying anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know who will bring this up to do some of this replacement, you know? Do we leave that like this for now until we get a maintenance person and he can bring the issues to the council? Is that how it should be done?
Yeah.
Well, the streets committee can bring a recommendation too, like, because everyone on streets can.
I think right now, let's get that curb put in.
Yeah, let's
Be done with that.
We need.
We can look at the other stuff and, you know,
We need to
and
do that, but you bring.
that's gonna be more of a job than just a 6-foot section.
Yeah, but you just bring up all the entanglements, just don't become entangled in it, that's all.
Yeah.
It isn't worth it.
Absolutely no. All right, anything else under city maintenance? We discussed quite a little.
We need to make a motion to have Mariano do that.
I
It
guess
is
so.
Mariano, right?
Mariano, yeah. Is everybody happy with him putting in 8 feet of curb? Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so do you want to make
I don't know why
that?
you're pointing me out, but yeah.
No, it's just, we need everything.
Well, if you
We should, I mean,
reflect on one of these letters here. It seems as though I hired him for the project and it sounds like his work is substandard, so I thought I'd get everybody's input.
Okay.
So Tom, you want to make that
For
motion?
me, it's from a landowner, so.
I'll make a motion.
Someone to second?
second,
All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed, motion carried. All right, down to the city clerk. Nuisance letters.
You all got copies of them. They went out June 29th.
oh, and
They all went out already?
Yes.
I have some more that could have been added to it, and I'll get you a list and throw it in the thing out here,
Perfect.
hopefully tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys said you wanted it done as, so we kind of did it ASAP.
Yeah, but it was, I asked if the letters were sent out before cleanup days. That's when we usually did it, so people had an opportunity
Yeah.
to use it. But these were dated June 29th, 2 days after our meeting. That I brought it up to. Pardon?
This is the second round.
Oh, well, I was wondering about the copies of the first round. Do
Oh.
we have them?
No, I didn't get those ones. I got the new ones.
I better need them before I give you another list then.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's more of them that were sent before.
Yeah.
And according to city code, it's her job to send those out. It's not even under our direction, according to our city code. I'm reading the whole thing right now to go through it for that police department stuff.
Well, I'm wondering how the wordage on it, it's, some of them say the Good Thunder City Council to constitute a public nuisance. There's a couple of them that say that. And then there is marked with an X. The Good Thunder City Council has directed me, I take it as in Ashley? Is that what I
My
mean?
name signed to them, yes.
Yep, there it says Good Thunder City Council has directed me. Then there's another one yet.
A couple of them are specifically, I had Kennedy do verbiage so that I didn't have to be told I was being harsh with some people.
And then there's another one that says Good Thunder City Council and Maintenance has directed me to contact. We have no city maintenance as of June 29th. So how can, shouldn't them letters all be consistent the way they're wrote up?
What did the attorney say?
The one he drafted, was in a 400 South, Sherman Street, or 400 Sherman Street block. He drafted that one. I tried to keep them all of the same verbiage. Some of them are not.
Well, maybe we should use his form in the future,
Perfect.
maybe. They accomplish the same mission. It's just, that
Yeah. How many were sent out before Good Thunder cleanup days?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I think there was a dozen or so, the same people that in the last 2 years have all got the same ones. Whether it's their things in their yard and
I remember you saying that.
Obviously, the individual that lives north of Sarah on her street didn't get one with them couches that have been on that boulevard since cleanup days. Are they still there, Sarah? I haven't looked.
Didn't they get a letter? Did they cleaned it up?
They're gone
Oh,
now?
yeah,
They were there like a week ago.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Good, perfect.
Those are gone.
All right.
I was gonna be just, give a little friendly reminder, but then they were gone. So I don't know if they were confused about cleanup days or what.
All right. Anything else on nuisance letters, anybody?
No, other than like, if I get the other list and
Does them nuisance letters, do they constitute, long grass?
I think so, right? I mean,
That's in
everything.
our,
Yeah.
it's.
City
the-
code.
The grass and the weed is over 6 inches.
Yeah.
yeah. So did a lot of, any people get them? There's,
Well, my household got one for weeds that were along in the backyard and on the side yard. I think
I think there was another one
there was.
There's a couple-
one-
by the school.
I had a complaint about that one, but I looked today and they must have trimmed them down already.
Okay, well, they got,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
how about when you first come into Good Thunder from the east and you turn to come up the hill?
you're going up.
South side of the road.
Yeah,
Pretty sure she's in there.
maybe it was that
I don't
one.
think she's in that set.
I think she got one the first time.
Yeah. We-
Probably needs another one then.
And so what happens to these individuals if nothing happens?
Well, that's the discussion we always have.
That's right.
However, didn't the attorney say when he was here that we do have the right to go in and
Abate?
abate?
City code says that, lays it right out for the timeline and all.
I was gonna say, is it 30 days?
You may never collect, but you can put it on taxes. though.
Yeah,
We never have wanted to do that really, but
no. The only times like we talked about, we've done it when it was an emergency or
yeah,
health and safety hazard kind of a thing.
yeah, right.
Who determines that if some of these do not perform any work? Are we gonna revisit it each time until we decide it's not a nuisance, or yes, it is a nuisance, or?
Well, I don't know, because isn't it also that if they make some effort, then it has to start over again?
Starts all over, yeah.
That's in the
Process
code,
starts
too.
over.
So,
So we can check and see if they've made progress, and then if they haven't and it's still,
that's why we've never done the abatement thing. That's
Yeah.
the crux of it right there, is that, you can kind of get into it, unless it's an emergency, but.
I think I remember years ago, one of the things we always wanted to make sure we abated right away was the tires. Because
Mosquitoes,
mosquitoes in the summertime.
and that isn't such a big deal either, you know what I mean?
No,
But
Wood piles, are they constitute a nuisance? Or home heat?
like, what do you
Like
mean,
sta-
like a bonfire wood pile or?
No.
or
Wood pile for home heat.
I don't-
not if, I think you've talked about it in the past, if it was stacked neatly. Because I remember somebody complaining to me, they're like, oh, they don't like the way I stacked my wood. I said, well, if it's thrown in a pile, when you're in the process, that's one thing, but you should probably get it stacked up at some point.
Does this pertain to commercial properties?
Commercial properties and
Yeah.
industrial properties usually have higher standards than residential.
Okay,
like feral gas with the weeds and stuff.
I see they sprayed that.
That's,
Cause they got a letter.
they got a letter. But when you
Looks
look at the
bad.
industrial code, they're required to keep their property, they have more restrictions, more rules than a residential property does. That's supposed to be all gravel or pavement. There's not supposed to be any weeds there.
Are the weeds, is the weeds supposed to be kept down?
They're not even supposed to be there.
Yeah.
At all, especially since it was a gas facility prior.
No, I mean any other business. If they have weeds that are so tall along the buildings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
From what I remember reading, pretty sure.
Just asking, so.
Okay.
All right, anybody else with questions on nuisance letters? If not, we'll move on to mid-year audit is scheduled for August 4th. What day is that on?
Oh,
Probably
Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay,
Oh, that reminds me, you asked.
would they ever have that audit ready or to present the following Monday?
no, not a chance.
Probably not, so we won't get a report until September then. All right,
So that makes me think, that's budget time come end of August. We should probably set a budget meeting too. Ugh,
Yes.
I was just thinking about that.
and I think if we do that, when Cheryl was here, we used to go and spend a couple hours at it,
Mhm.
line item by.
We did that last time too, didn't we?
No, I don't think so. We just took a percentage and put it up on everything. Because the way the lawyer is looking there, that could fall behind.
Well, there's lots of stuff that's off. I mean, with fuel being up and natural gas, those are all off.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, we could
We're gonna
spend a
have to
couple hours.
Move stuff around on a lot of stuff.
Because there's gonna be a lot of them. I mean, like our printing and publishing, we had $1,000 down and we've already spent $2,426. That's a 242% increase. Contractual services, we had $2,500 and we're at $5,600 right now with a 226% increase. I think,
Their cog, portion of our cog in there, maybe possibly.
I mean, all these, when you look at the higher percentages, general office supplies is up by 157%. We had 2,000 budgeted. We're at 31 right now, year to date. That means now. Auditing services, we have 15,000. They always do it twice, right?
No,
So-
bill us once.
Pardon, they only bill us once?
Yeah, they do the
So they
major.
do it twice, but they only bill us one time.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously they're $11,971. In June of last year, they were 12,000. So year to date, last year in June, or year to date, last year was 13,300. I was just wondering how that works, because we have 15,000 budgeted there, so.
So they'll bill us again after the final end of year. So when they present end of year, which will probably be March or April, then we'll be billed again for this year.
And then conferences, we had $3,500 budgeted, and up till June, we had 4,200. But then year to date, we have 10,106. That's a 290% increase. Natural gas, yes, I understand what Jim said. Yep. General supplies, we had 5,000. We're at 2,350, 46%. Communications, 2,000. We're at 8,468 at a 423% increase. I was just wondering, is all this getting put in the right spot that we have such large increases? Tom, you're the financial wizard.
Remember, that's why I suggested that we just look at this and increase it by a percentage rather than go line item by line item, because I was afraid we'd end up with a way wacko increase in tax. Doing it that way, because there was some obvious problems as far as where money was being allocated and what account it was being allocated into or not taken out of, whatever. So, if we do look at it line item by line item, we'll be be able to maybe see some of those things and correct them,
Well, how can
you
our
know?
conferences and school trainings be up to $10,000 already this year?
Well, the fire department had training this year.
Oh, that's in here too?
That's the account code associated with it, yes.
Oh, yeah, it is under fire department, my fault.
I would say it's probably where
So
that comes.
should we just set a meeting the second or third week in August?
Well, chances are we probably will have to have a second meeting in August, just like we're doing this month.
Mhm.
So we just make that a budget meeting and a council meeting.
The
Well,
second
the
one?
Budget meeting is always by itself, because we've had
It's like a
4-hour
bucket-
ones, we've had 1-hour
It's a
ones.
budget workshop.
But the thing of it is, with the
Yeah.
hiring process, we might want to review something just for maybe in 15, 20 minutes or an hour or a half hour or whatever. So if you do a budget council meeting, you have that opportunity to review it.
That's true.
So just saying.
You can post it for both,
Well,
you know?
if you post it for both, you're safe at having it.
Right, even if you don't need to do any business. there.
Because what happens if we got an individual, we want to hire him? Say that happens after that.
You would call an emergency meeting.
That probably is an emergency to hire somebody though.
Don't you think
It
so?
only has something to do with the functions of the
You
city.
could- you could-
Call a special meeting.
Call a special
Yeah, we
meeting
could
for
call
like
a
in 2
special,
days.
Yeah, that you can do.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you can book August 8th and the 22nd if you council meeting and your workshop for your budget.
and then Tom, maybe this is, I've always wondered, you've asked for the cash balance summary, right? Can you tell me why JE payroll is always in parentheses?
Because that's what it costs to run those departments.
Pardon?
That's what it costs to run the department.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
That's a.
That's a
debit.
deficit.
That's a debit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
that's a debit.
all right.
But as long as we're talking about it, I was gonna just ask, maybe the next meeting, you can show from your check reconciliation
Mhm.
why that top line doesn't add up on that cash balance.
Okay.
Okay, that's probably what it is. But if you just demonstrate that for us, I
Okay.
think that'll help everyone understand that.
That's off by a lot of money,
Yeah,
a lot of money. Just like looking at the big figures.
yeah,
right?
yeah. But all it would take is one $200,000 check not to be in there,
The one that just came in.
Right, I mean, it's-
Well, and
$6,000.
because you guys are looking at June's
Yeah.
money right now, you're not looking at July's money, so the taxes are not showing on this one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of confusing to look at that way, but.
All right, anybody else with questions on the mid-year audit? We fine? Ashley, do you have stuff to add now then?
No, that's fine. Do you guys want to set that budget workshop for the 22nd while we're discussing it? That's
That'd be
the
the,
third or fourth in August, third or fourth week.
probably, yeah, that'd be the
It would be the fourth week, yeah.
5 Mondays in August.
I'll make a motion, we do that. Budget. Yeah, August 22nd.
What time?
Start that earlier.
I would
But
love to
5:30.
start earlier.
Yeah.
5:30.
Noon.
Yeah,
No,
no kidding.
I'll be working then.
But it's gonna be budget and how would you say that before?
Well, make the option to be able to have a regular council meeting if something,
Yeah,
For
okay.
budget workshop,
It's gonna be a regular council meeting and budget workshop.
budget workshop with council meeting to follow at 7.
Okay,
that's in your motion?
that's my motion.
All right, somebody second that?
I'll second his motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Because
All right.
I just wanna, you went through a bunch of them where we're way over in budget, but like same thing and we're under budget in a lot of them too. We budgeted $4,000 for planning services and we've got zeros in it,
Mhm.
And that's one of them, you could move that hole into something else.
or reallocate what really should have come out of planning,
Right.
That's gonna take some time.
Like in our water funds and right now, what kind of money, I guess I want to look at that.
Yeah,
What kind of, we've always been falling short there, Tom. You brought that to our attention 2 years ago.
and it still looks short. And I thought we fixed it already. I don't understand that.
Whatever sewer.
Water,
Water.
because we really don't have enough money to even say we can take off and start on a water main going south on.
No, not what's in the books.
No.
You're right. You're right.
So
Just looking for it here right now myself.
well, that $180,000, no, that was sewer, or was that sewer lining that we were off last year, right? $180,000 didn't get transferred right away,
Yeah, and see, that's why I thought we fixed that, but
but we're talking water.
look at that. If you look at that, we're,
Sewers
Oh.
137
that's
with our
different.
investments.
That's different. Yeah, we have a $200,000 balance there now. Sewer fund is 137 in the hole.
Yep.
Yeah. Sewer fund, that's the one.
And
That's the one I thought we fixed.
we fixed that, I thought,
I did too.
but we still have a deficit there.
Yeah, so we need that demonstrated also, Dashney, if you could, as to where, why, how.
Well, I guess when the auditors come, that'd be a good question to ask them.
Well, yeah, I mean,
We
we can
fixed
work.
the water because of the water main. And then we did something with the sewer.
We transferred, I think it was 180 from the sewer at the, I think April is when it hit.
We took it out of the general to put in the sewer.
That's what I
We moved
thought.
it by resolution.
And then the water main for out here, but that wasn't that much, right? That whole project was $300,000, but that water main portion would have came out of our water fund, or did we pay that out of the general also? Because you brought that to our attention, Tom, that
Yeah.
it doesn't really make much difference to take and put it in the water fund, write it out of the water fund, pay off the water debt when it all comes from the general account to start with.
Right, right. Yeah, it doesn't like you're gonna make money.
Right,
The money-
we have the
The
money,
money's there already. It's already been done. It's you just have to.
but the auditor wanted it that way to make it clean, right?
Right, right. So anyway, as long as you've got him here, got them here, why, maybe you can have that all explained also too. I could go through it, but I don't want. Got tired.
That's water, baby.
No, it wasn't. The auditor do it. He can figure it out. Or they can figure it out.
Another thing we were talking about earlier is National Night Out. We're trying to figure out how to do that. The people we had come out with the Jersey Sweet Spot truck, she'd messaged them and left messages. I'd messaged them. They never got back to us. Finally, they got back to us today. They can't come out. So we're trying to figure out something else. Just because, you know, something streamlined, easy, kids come out, we hand them an ice cream of some sort. Are you guys still okay with a few $100s spent on, you know, maybe we'll go, I don't know, we'll call around,
Yeah.
see if we can get little individual cups and then have of ice cream pre-packed or get dilly bars from the Dairy Queen downtown or something. You know what I mean? Just a little
Yeah,
something
no,
for the
yeah,
kiddos.
Yeah, there's no reason why we can't.
Sarah, what's the date on that? The
It's
second-
August 2nd, isn't it?
The first Tuesday, right?
First Tuesday of the month, from 5 to 7. So are we gonna do something regardless? We're gonna figure it out?
I don't know.
I would feel bad not doing, I didn't get to go last year, so.
The sooner we know, the sooner I can let the fire department know, because Phil needs to
Oh,
know.
yeah, yeah.
So if they can be there, it's just up to you guys.
Well, and then we have another meeting before then, so we can announce it at that meeting too. That'll be good. That's the tentative plan.
Just somebody want to make a motion to contribute $250 to
They'll move.
do that?
Just trying to see where it should come out of. I thought, oh, there it is, advertising,
Yeah, I think that's what we usually do is out of advertise.
advertising. Yeah.
Ron made a motion, someone second, take it out of advertising?
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Since we're on the finances, under the revenues, we have two special assessments. And one, June of this year, we had $1,416, and then year to date now, it's $7,200. And then you go down a few lines and then we got $3,549. Why would we have two special assessment line items under the general fund? See that, Tom?
Yeah, I do see it.
One of the special assessments would be the sidewalk project.
Yeah, but that should be listed as sidewalks then.
No, Burkhardt said to do it under special assessments because the way we bill it out to them, so it's all in one, so it's tracked. Because if they don't pay it by November, we have to put it on as a special assessment to them.
We pay for the sidewalks. The city pays for the
The
sidewalks.
residents paying back though.
They pay
Because we
for a
bill all
portion.
the residents.
Oh,
Their portion.
all right.
Yeah.
And then miscellaneous revenues, where would miscellaneous revenues come from?
I could not answer that question right now. I would have to pull it up and look and do an audit of what exactly each one was. You know, if someone gets a copy made and it's $1 and it's, you know,
And then if you go up to the top, their contributions and donations is at 2,500, well, year to date, but June it was 10,000, now to year to date, now it jumped up to $27,000. There's $17,000. Where does that
fire
money?
department donated
Mhm.
$17,000.
It's all fire department?
You guys signed a resolution last month for that
Yeah.
one.
Okay, that's the one that's, okay. Just to make sure this all gets, like I think the auditor said, puts in the right categories.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, Ashley?
It's election year, opens up August 2nd through the 16th to sign up for 2 vacant councils or seats that will be vacant and mayor.
It's a council for 2 council persons, 4 years, and mayor for 2 years, right?
Correct.
Yep. All right, anything else?
I think that's it for now.
All right, community comment?
Got a question on the sidewalks in town. Is that owned by the city or is that owned by the homeowner?
The sidewalks?
Yep.
It's on the public right of way, right? The sidewalks?
Correct.
Homeowner maintains it.
The homeowner is responsible for to scoop them. The city of Good Thunder has been giving money out to replace them. Give me your input. Whose are they?
No, but right, it's like, I know, I think years ago, when somebody fell down on Main Street on the sidewalk and the city was responsible.
Somebody fell on my sidewalk, I was responsible.
Okay,
So I don't
well,
know.
okay,
So my
well,
question is, who's responsible for driving motorcycles on sidewalks? Is that legal? I mean,
That's police.
four-wheelers.
City
best
code-
thing you could do is,
The city's code spells all that out. It needs just a little bit of tweaking. But generally, they can only go to 90-degree angle across. Like if you're leaving a driveway crossing a sidewalk, that's about the only exception you can do. It doesn't clarify snow removal in the code.
So when you see people that are driving up and down sidewalks with full-grown motorcycles and full-grown ATVs, do we call the cops then?
Yeah.
Or-
if you can get a license number, it'd be the best thing you could
We
do.
know who they are.
Oh,
Wow, but you still, they'd want a license number.
Betcha.
and-
That's the first thing they're gonna ask you. So,
Call it in.
okay, no,
I mean, I guess if it was my neighbor, I'd be like, don't park that on there. First of all, you're blocking the sidewalk. Yeah.
I got a
second
ticket
of
for
all,
parking on my
manage the
sidewalk, so, because I was washing my truck, arm came up, got a ticket.
I got a ticket for parking backwards on the street, but there's people that
Yeah,
do that
there's
too, so.
one house that consistently does that today. The same house has a car backwards on the wrong side of the
So
street.
you were talking about that not too long ago, that there's people parked wrong, so you wanted it addressed. So
Did the sheriffs ever address that or?
obviously, yes, 'cause
I've informed Nicole of it, but I don't know if they.
they must.
I'd have to check the log of citation for it. Oh, I'm sorry.
that you?
He's talked about it in the past. I mean, I guess
And then
there's
is it different,
bigger fish to fry, in my opinion, but
is
you
it
know,
different being a sidewalk on a county road?
I think it would have. Like whether or not you can drive on it?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that you still can.
state laws that guide public walkways.
Yes.
So what happens if a kid uses a jump to fly up onto the sidewalk and gets hurt? Is that the city's That's gonna cover that, or is that the homeowner?
Homeowner.
Actually,
The homeowner.
everybody will be involved in the suit.
My mom fell before she passed away. She fell and broke her arm and it was under my insurance.
So
But
how does it work when their driveway is through the sidewalk? So say their driveway is not long enough and their vehicle hangs over. the
yep, so they have
sidewalk.
like the approach there.
Yep.
It doesn't cover
I
it.
think
It
theirs.
doesn't cover it in the code, just so you know, because I just read the entire
does.
section.
I
You
think.
can drive on the side. So,
No, but I mean,
And I
what
think
she's saying
that
is your
officer might make
driveway
determination perhaps,
is
'cause that's-
18 feet long, your car's 20 feet long, so you're hanging out 2 foot on the sidewalk.
What do you do with the places like on our street?
Ours
where
is
they
like that.
widen the street?
that would be,
My driveway got cut off by 7 feet. So now when my car gets parked in my driveway, my bumper is on the sidewalk.
Right.
But it's not because I'm maliciously parking my car there,
Just
because the
doesn't fit
city's
there.
taking away 7 feet of my property. So do I gotta move my garage now to make it so I can park my car in front of it?
Jim has the same problem.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, you know.
yeah,
There's a difference between parking the sidewalk when you've got room to pull up
Yeah,
and parking with your bumper in the sidewalk because you don't have room to go. any
Yeah.
further.
Or a motorcycle?
I just think of these nice, beautiful sidewalks and curbs we just paid money to do, and then we have these big ATVs that jump the
they
curb
should
to
not be
go
doing that.
across the sidewalk to park right where the party is this weekend.
No, call it in.
But that, yeah, that's,
Okay.
like I said, there's state.
I would
there's
totally
state
call it
guidelines
in.
that cover public
Yeah.
walkways.
there's a police issue.
Well, I remember one of my kids getting talked about, or talked to not ride their bike on the sidewalk.
There's golf carts
by
that sit
the-
on the sidewalk.
By the restaurant side, they said you shouldn't ride, and so they didn't. They were supposed to walk.
Golf carts in the code are supposed to be on the street,
Yep,
not on sidewalk.
they're motor
Same
vehicles.
thing with motorcycles or any motor vehicle.
Mhm.
And I
Same with
I believe
motorbikes.
bikes aren't supposed to be on sidewalks. They're supposed to be on the street, which is really crazy.
I know.
I'd rather they be on the sidewalk than the street.
The little kids, yeah.
Especially if it's a county road.
I don't think
No, I would
anybody.
call
would
that
call it
in
little
because
kids. I know.
that's ridiculous. They should not be doing that.
But the problem we have those, sometimes they get called in and by the time the sheriff, somebody gets here, they're gone.
Well,
Absolutely.
oh, take a little video.
I've called.
We have video.
Okay.
So I just figured I'd ask the city because, you know, sometimes it involves people from the city. So that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
So,
How about when we see the little guys on dirt bikes or cycles up driving around town?
There's state laws that cover how old you gotta be.
They're all illegal. All those kids running around on motorcycles, it's against the law. You call it.
Under 16 don't have a permit, they're.
16, there's one up in our neighborhood, he can't be over 5.
Yeah.
He's actually
We had that same,
14.
issue- we had that same
Huh?
issue with golf carts.
Yeah.
14.
Yep.
It's just really small.
well, we know
Yep.
it's not right, but by the time the police will be called, they'll be gone. So
You can still talk to them, or if they have video, they can show them the
You
video.
can't take video of a kid underage.
No, no, you're not supposed to do that. I'm talking about the,
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that there's a lot of legalities and all that too. I mean, you can't, it's not straightforward.
Or the wheelies down the county road by the adults.
That's illegal all over. Anyway, it doesn't matter
I just
who that is.
experienced that on a walkout on the county road by the cemetery yesterday.
On
Oh,
motorcycle
this
or
is in
bicycle?
town.
I
Yeah,
kick people
just
off
as we were
their
coming
rides
in.
because there's no wheelies. in
Or
our-
crotch rockets that are doing wheelies or doing 80 miles an hour through town.
They just crowd, we got people with Dodges and Ford Mustangs that go through town at 78
Yep.
miles an hour too.
Yep, got that on videotape too.
Yep, yep.
Mhm.
all right, well, we'll take it under advisement. We will
Let the sheriff know.
pardon,
Let the sheriff know.
let the sheriff's
So
department
just
know.
call the sheriff.
Yeah,
Don't call here.
absolutely.
No,
911.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a non-emergency number if you would just want to talk to them, but if it's you want them to come now, you call 911. For sure.
But it's definitely a law enforcement issue.
Yeah.
All right, anybody else with community comment?
My letter come underneath this category.
Sure.
In that, I'm not trying to make trouble, Frank. What I'm trying to point out is there are procedures and processes that need to be followed in certain cases. Especially when you talk about city government. And it seems like for some reason or another, if somebody brings this to your attention, your answer is, well, I'm not doing anything. I just won't do anything anymore. Instead of trying to figure out what you can do, what procedures and processes are available to you to correct the problem. That's kind of what I'm pointing out. If somebody tells you this isn't following procedure, this isn't following process, I'm not telling you you can't do it. Say, figure out what the process and procedure is and follow that. That's all
And
I'm
that's
saying.
what we've been trying to do.
We've got to have bid, the city's got to have bid. This is one thing that Kennedy pointed out with you doing stuff, Rob. He said, well, I have to have a bid. Doesn't say that you can't do it. It just says we have to have a bid process in place for that. Now, there are federal laws and state laws, that if you have to have bids and you don't follow the bidding process, that's called bid review. That's a crime. That's not just a tort, that's a crime. That's the things I don't want our city to wind up in. I'm just pointing out that I think we need to be more conscious, especially in today's day and age, of what our procedures are and whether or not we're following them properly. That's all I'm pointing out.
Would you want to read this beautiful letter?
I can read it.
Why don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
State your name.
Oh, my name is Ken McGee's.
Okay. Thank you.
To the city, to the Good Thunder City Council. Reading through the minutes of the past couple meetings, it seems that outstanding issue that keeps being pushed aside. The City Council has for years been working outside the guides, regulations, and procedures of the city council members year after year. Actually, for decades, according to Robert Anderson, in the May minutes, you made a comment that for 29 years, it's been going this way, 29 and a half years. That's where I got the decade thing. It appears some city council members believe that they are above or do not need to follow these procedures. When I point out that, it's like same thing I just said. If somebody brings it to your attention that you don't have that procedure or that you're not following procedures, or you need to do something different for a procedure, your backlash on that is just really unprofessional. That's where I'll leave that. I asked the city council to evaluate their duties, requirements that they respect for their respective position. By continuing the practice of not following procedures and legal processes, they open the city to legal action that could amount to dollars that could be avoided by just doing what they're elected to do, not what they want to do. The city attorney has advised the city council several times over the past couple months to get their practices aligned with the regulations and procedures of city government. Repeatedly, the mayor and other members of the council seem to believe that this is a personal opinion here, this is my, I'll put that on it right there. Repeatedly, the mayor and members of the city council seem to believe that they know better and are ignoring the directions of the city attorney. Where I get that from is when I hear the city attorney say, well, you've got to have proper procedures and processes for that, and everybody starts rebuking him right away. They'll start saying, well, we've done that for years, it's the way we do it, I want to save the city money, whatever it is. Just, my thing is listen, have an open mind, and try to, I'll go on reading this. While many seem to be concerned about the money the city is spending looking at ways to save money, consider how much a lawsuit would cost the city because some members of the council believe they can do as they see fit. Having been in the city council for only one session, it's clear to me that a couple members of the city council believe it is proper actions to commit character assassination of anyone who disagrees with them. It is rumored that some of the city members of the city council have acted in retaliation against those who disagree with them. There have been 3 families that have come up to me and asked me about things that I tell them to come to the city council meeting, and they say they're afraid to come to the city council meeting because they feel they get retaliated against if they say something the city doesn't agree with. Pointing that out. I hope by writing this letter, the city council will take the time to evaluate their past actions, get on track with careful consideration of what their position allows, does not allow, in hopes of preventing future losses that could possibly bring the city under great financial strain because nothing is made correct.
Can I just ask what?
That's my beautiful letter.
Yeah, thank you. Lisa Dana on Facebook. I'll give you credit for that. You brought it here in person.
I'm not on Facebook anymore. I don't believe in social media.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I would just like to ask about the fear of retaliation. Has there been retaliation over the years?
This is what I've got expressed to me, and I said that. This is what I've got expressed to me from people in the community who said they've come to the city council, brought concerns to city council, and they feel like the city council doesn't listen to them. If it's something the city council didn't like, they get retaliated against.
And I feel like I can actually help on that matter. Before I actually even moved into town, when I actually got my offer accepted in my house, I had posted online asking for some information about the history of Good Thunder because I'm a history nut and I love to look into that stuff. I put it together and I thought that maybe I could do something fun for the town like I did for Casota when I lived there. I got messaged by an individual that has a family member or a close person in the council. And I spoke with them on the phone. It was about a 2.5 to 3 hour conversation. This person berated every person that was not involved with the city council and who was not in good terms with them. She used names. She laughed. She laughed when she said she ran people out of town. It was very concerning at the end of the phone call. My husband came home from work. I was crying. I said, I don't know what we've gotten ourselves into. I don't know what kind of town we're moving into, but it sure sounds like there's no support there. I've come to find out that that's a lot different from the residents of the town. They are very supportive. They want to do what's best for this town. However, I do think that the people currently on the council, I think there needs to be some new people, some fresh heads. I think there needs to be new ideas. I think there needs to be openness to looking at the policies and procedures and seeing what fits and what's not fit with our current atmosphere. I can tell you that moving into this town was an eye-opening experience coming from the cities and seeing how well things were put together. And there's pros and cons to living in the city and living in the country. But what I will not tolerate living here is backlash against my family and my friends. So that has to stop.
And that came from this council?
It came from somebody related to you or in close contact with you, Robert. Somebody who lives with you. Okay. And
That
she
is me.
It is you, correct, yes, Vicky Howard.
And what was that
What did I
backlash?
do?
When I first moved in, you had, or when I didn't even move in yet, you were.
Does this have to
touching
do
your
with
nail.
city business?
Yeah, is this
Is
personal or?
this city business or should we take it out and
She-
outside?
What you guys talk about now is personal. What she
Yes.
brought up
Yes.
was to.
Validate,
That's what I'm looking for.
validate.
Validate what I was saying about retaliation from people in the community because they don't agree with city council. Now-
Okay.
Now, this between you two is between you two.
That's between them.
That has nothing to do with it.
Has me as a council person or anybody here retaliated against you?
Not you specifically.
Okay, but anybody,
Other-
anybody on this council, have they retaliated against
How do you
you?
consider retaliation, Robert?
Well, I don't know.
Talking to somebody in the community and spreading rumors about people or talking to the community and feeding them false ideas, that's retaliation. That's not, it doesn't mean you have to come up to me and stick something in my face.
Okay,
You could do character.
But it wasn't me.
Character assassination is a form of retaliation.
it wasn't me though.
Well, I didn't say it was.
Well,
I'm saying-
she
I'm just saying-
pointed to me and close in my family, but as long as it is not me as a mayor, has nothing to do with me.
And I gotta ask, your statement that you wrote on Facebook, that it's not the 1950s, that it's 2022 and he needs to learn how to speak to women. This is the first time you've had words with him, so please tell me how you got those accusations, because this is literally the first time you have spoke one word to him. So please tell me where you're getting those rumors from.
I don't see what this has to do with anything we're talking about
Well,
right
it's
now.
retaliation, right? She's
Retaliation, yes.
retaliating Against him.
Let's
But
control our
we're
meeting a
not
little
gonna
bit.
dwell on this.
Point of order.
This is the thing I'm pointing out. This is what I'm pointing out. As soon as somebody brings up something that ruffles somebody's feathers.
No, I said it. I
it's
know I
towards
said it.
you. All your clique people come out and start attacking it.
Or click.
And I'm telling you that.
I
I'm
didn't,
telling you that.
I didn't.
I tell you what,
How did I attack? I asked a
and
question.
Ken and Jennifer and Vicky all take
Yes, I
your
did.
private matters outside. Hey,
Noted.
All right,
take your matters outside, all four of you. You go out there and discuss it. If you get it worked out, you can come back. How's that? Does that work for the council?
We're just waiting time.
Robert, I also had two older couples come up to me the other day and say the same exact thing. They had a concern. I said, bring it to the council. They said they're not coming in here because they don't want retaliation against them. I don't know. That was their word.
Ask me the retaliation.
It's the
Where-
perception.
Here's the whole point. There's a perception of retaliation by the citizens.
Perception, but it ain't true.
Perception is reality,
gotta fix it.
unfortunately.
You still gotta fix it.
Well, you know, I've been blamed for all the individuals that have quit here. But I was never named like the individual that quit 2 months ago and named the people why he quit. Now, nobody named me.
Here's my question.
Deflect.
We've had so many people that we can't keep on here. Why? Whatever the reason, whatever the problem is, we need to fix that. And that's kind of what I'm pushing at. I'm not pushing at blaming somebody. I'm not pushing at pointing the finger at somebody. But I will tell you that if we don't fix these things, we will wind up in a lawsuit.
Do you know why Brian Beckel quit? Do you know why he quit?
He
What are
told
you
me why
talking
he
about
quit.
that?
He
Why?
told me to his face, because he said he was being micromanaged. That's
Well,
what he told me.
and he also got a girlfriend in Wisconsin and moved out there. Does that have anything to say about
I
our?
don't know that, because I didn't talk to him about that. When he talked to me about, when I asked him, I said, why are you leaving? He says, because I can't feel like I'm doing my job because everybody's micromanaging.
But why is it all geared towards him right now? What about all the rest of these?
I'm saying city council. I said city council.
But we're always looking at him. So what about
And
all?
when he
We're
the
not
rest?
talks
always
to
looking
somebody,
at
he
him.
looks at somebody, does that mean he's acquisitioning them? No.
Wait, he's waiting for them to answer.
Well,
Have
okay,
them hear from
again,
him.
why don't you,
I'm done. I said my piece. I'm done. That's
Thanks,
it.
Cal.
No.
thank you.
I want-
Thanks for that beautiful letter.
Thank you, thank you.
And I'm glad you're not a fan of Facebook. Thank you very much. So, all right, getting back to community comment. Anyone else?
Here is a petition.
On the advice of our attorney, we'll take it under advisement. People have the right in the city to file a petition, whether it has any bearing on people's job or well-being. I don't know. Tom, chime in. How did he state that? We just take
He
it under.
said the council can take no action on the petition.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no legal
There's no legal action.
need.
We'll keep it and
Yeah.
thank you. All right, anybody else under,
I'm going back to this Pioneer Indian days, because I'm just simply stating, I was never asked to take it over. I was never told we were gonna turn it over to the city. So I'm just curious why the current members weren't offered here. Do any of you want this? I'm gonna go close it. I'm gonna cash it over to the city. Not one thing was asked. So I'm just curious. There was maybe 8 of us on the committee and only 2 of them made the decision to close the account.
you should have
What
asked
I
about
wanted.
You should ask.
minutes ago.
You should ask Ken while he was here. And also Robert said in one meeting that he would never have his family associated with any account like that. True story.
What?
You said at one time, I would never have my family in charge of anything like that because, you know, of this, that.
It's only one person of a committee, just like I am only one person of a 5-council committee, 5-person committee. No one person can do that. If that was a committee, it should have took a quorum, just like any other meeting. That's what it should have took.
I didn't find out till after the fact that it was closed. Nobody asked me to take it over.
Well, anyway, well, thank you for your input. By the way, after our last meeting, I got handed this stuff from 1964, 5 and 6 through 72 from people that were on the Pioneer Indian Day Committee, that checks and balances, bank statements, bills, deposit slips, a committee member button, and a Good Thunder button. I would like to put this in the city archives, that it remains with the city and for the duration. I believe this is where it should be. I can't believe that back in those days, those committee members did a superb job of running the committee. You know, it was a Good Thunder Pioneer Indian Days Committee, PID. And we ran under that for a while. And then it went to the Good Thunder Committee, right? And I believe Jerry Anderson handed you people the book that he had. Well, he ran it for a short time, right?
They had a Thunderfest for a while.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I would like to give this to the city. I don't know where you want to put it. If you want to put it in here, put it down here somewhere. But it's
They're all
always
in the room.
gonna always be with the city.
If there's buttons and stuff out, we can take them out and put them up, you know.
Archives, you know, so.
You've got resident who has the name of user G trying to ask a question.
Pardon?
A resident trying to ask a question.
Okay, go ahead. Which person?
I don't know, it says user G, they didn't put their,
When you've asked them to state their name and address, so.
and
It's Becky, is that her or no?
no, it's a different one.
Yeah, this is Greg Getliker. Do you hear me?
Ooh, I can't understand.
No?
It's too muffled back here.
Okay. She'll turn it up.
I have a question about that easement to the river out by the Good Thunder Bridge. Who and why were those no trespassing signs put up? Were they put up by the owners of that property? Or was that a city council person decision?
Is this a boat landing?
Yeah. What did happen with that?
That is not,
First off, it's not city business. The owner
I'm
of the
just wondering-
property asked me to get a hold of the county to see where the property lines were. I did. I got maps here right now tonight, which I'm not going to show until the meeting's over
Okay,
because it has nothing to do with the council. I was working on my own as a citizen of Good Thunder, and that lady lives in Florida. She's not around here. And I've been talking to her for 40, 50 years and her mother.
so was there a problem with it? Is that why this came up?
Four-wheelers. Tearing up everything down there, and they're going in the river down there, and she did not want the responsibility if somebody got hurt.
So couldn't we
Plain and
put
simple.
no, I mean, so was it the county that did it then or?
No,
Oh,
the
They
owner,
surveyed it, and I put the signs 3 foot away from the survey line. That's what they told me to do.
a lot of people were just wondering because that's been a
Yep.
kayak access.
Well, everybody knows I did it, so why don't you send them to me?
Okay,
I've talked to a number of people, and it's like, oh, okay,
well, I didn't know who did it. I heard you did it, but I wasn't just gonna assume it was
I'll
you.
be up.
It's been all over Facebook. You've seen it.
Yeah, so anyway,
I'm back in school. I don't watch Facebook all the time.
what I say,
anyway,
that's,
it's not a city issue,
nope,
but the individual serving on the city council was talked to by the landowners and had the permission to post it. It's just that simple, but it is not a city issue.
nope.
Okay,
What
well
about-
then, in,
Okay.
in response to that, was city equipment used to put logs across that trail down there to keep the ATVs out?
That's on city property. That's not the same issue.
Well, where those logs are then, that's still city property?
Yes.
Then
And
why
it's
are
no
they signs?
trespassing. It's no trespassing into the woods.
Okay,
But
that's,
but we can still go to the landing there and fish in the river.
As long as you stay on the river shore.
Then
Not
move
walk
those
across
no,
them.
move those no trespassing signs back to where you put up those logs to keep people out of there with city equipment.
Two different issues, different property. The
well,
logs went in is on city property and those four-wheelers were still going back in there right past the no trespassing sign.
You can walk down there anytime you want to access the river.
okay, can I just say that when it says no trespassing? No, you can't.
That's what's confusing.
Legally-
You have no motorized.
And who said to put up all the no trespassing signs down there?
That was way back early
That
in
was
the
not
year.
at a council meeting.
Yes, it was August of 21.
To put all those signs so nobody could
Yes.
go back there?
Yes,
They put them up on us.
August of 21.
I don't recall that. I'm
Do you
sorry.
know it's illegal to drive a four-wheeler on the riverbed?
Oh, absolutely. We've talked to people out there.
I mean,
I talked to, there was some guys out there and my husband said, you know, this is illegal. The DNR is gonna ding you. Really? No, you can't do it during this, only in the winter.
The DNR already warned about 3 or 4 people in this
No
town.
ATVs back there.
Pardon?
Why do we have to have the no trespassing stuff? Because I had somebody who wanted to go check out the archery range. And they said there's no trespassing signs there. And I'm
Drive
like,
on the road.
You can drive on the road to get.
You can be on the road all you
On the
want.
road, you're driving on the road
what
to
about
the
people just go
landfill.
down,
Or-
fish into the river? Why don't we just take those out and put no motorized vehicles past this point?
That makes more sense.
Let's do that.
Okay, we can do, who's gonna do it though?
Well,
The same guy that put the other signs up.
Jake,
he can, I mean,
We don't have anybody that can do it.
you want me to do it? I'll take time out and do it.
Go
Well,
for
who
it.
put,
I don't know
No,
where
you
to get the
can't. You're on the
signs.
council.
who put the
I'm on the
signs
council.
up that are
I'm not
there
asking
now?
for any money. I'm just saying that people are like, we don't have a lot to do in this town. And within a few weeks, I know they're separate issues, but people don't realize that. The perception is that we have people going out, blocking the roads for people to go down to the river, putting signs up, changing the turnaround. And they're like, we don't have a lot to do in this town. Going kayaking, canoeing, or fishing is what we like to do.
You can still park there and unload and go right down the ramp into the
But
river.
they didn't know that ramp was there. They really liked coming around and dropping their stuff off and, you know, being in the river.
Ramp is there. You can canoe down there, no problem. Don't go past the signs. That's a property
I
line.
really think you should have DNR, there's a guy that goes around training people, and the DNR guy will come talk to you guys and explain that no razors or four-wheelers can be on the river.
Oh,
And we-
it's been explained to
And
me
we've got
before.
pictures of them on the river,
Okay,
Yep.
and we know who they are.
What happens, just say for some instance, an individual is down there riding through the city's woods and a tree branch falls out of the tree, injures them. Yeah, I know I'm reaching for the stars, but again, what would
How the
happen?
attorney.
We are allowing them to be on city property, knowing there's a lot of rotten, dying trees down there, and somebody gets hurt and they sue the city.
And also the DNR pointed out to me when I was talking to him, that if it floods, 100-year flood, which that has gotten wet down there, it's considered floodplain and it's a DNR rule. Now you can call the DNR, I can give you the guy's phone number and you can find this out. Nobody is supposed to be off the road and people have abused this privilege. Totally. And they got caught and nobody's done anything about it.
Well, the only people that would do something about it is the police, so.
No, the DNR would love that.
Well, yeah, well, DNR, they are the police.
Yeah.
They're just a different.
So anyway, I hope that answers your questions about how this all come about.
Well, no, it hasn't. Nothing's been resolved because it's still perceived when you drive out there and head down that little road to get to the riverbank that you can't be there. I'm not talking ATVs. I'm talking about driving my truck down there with lawn chairs, coolers, fishing equipment, and grandkids to fish in the river.
Stay on the grass. You're not going past no trespassing signs.
But if they walk down there to the river, they are going past.
To the river and walk down along the shoreline.
So they can't park down at the burn pile and walk down there?
You're talking two different properties here.
Are you talking the turnaround, sir? I'm sorry. So you're
No.
talking that?
The access just before you get to the bridge where you turn right to go
Okay,
down to the river.
okay,
We call it the boat landing.
yeah. Well, I used to call it the turnaround.
There is an access to the river there.
Yep.
Yeah, they put a new one in like 3 years ago. You just can't see it.
You just can't see that
It's
access.
covered with grass.
You can still park there and walk down towards the access, I guess. But isn't there so many feet along the riverbed that's,
I said, you can walk along the river. You don't get out in the middle of the parking lot or out in the middle of that turnaround.
too bad.
That's the way it is though.
And again, we are mowing down there
Around
to
the
make it
monument.
look around that monument. So if anybody has questions, yes, Bob has been instructed to mow to keep the weeds down for the respect of that monument down there.
Well,
There's
yeah, I mean,
people-
We
there's
decided to
four-
do that 3 years.
We've always
ago. That's
done
no
that.
problem.
There's four cars.
The
the other
county
the
said
other
they weren't
day,
gonna take
and
care
they
of
were
it.
picnicking
We
all
took it over.
Anything
On the
anymore,
grass.
everything's a problem.
around the grass.
Just
And they were
bring it up.
picnicking down there.
Okay.
So do you have any other questions about the boat landing or the access to the river?
No, I'll go down there and try it out, see what happens.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Becky wants to know, what's the petition?
Who?
Becky, it's in the comments. Rebel Rooster.
Um, It is just a petition about a majority of I don't know how you want to explain it. Tom, you go for it. You're better at it than I am. Careless, maybe some carelessness of monies being spent.
I don't even want to go into it.
There you go.
Until we get some, more, whoever I'm talking to, more advice, why, I don't think we should even, as far as I know. And that there's no legal thing that we can do with it or anything.
But it's not public information, by no means.
Yeah,
No.
and if it becomes public, well, then the attorney can tell us it becomes public. Because I've never seen it before either.
No.
So, all right, anybody else under community comment? If not, we'll move on to unfinished business. We have street patching. Ron, you already talked about that, right?
I'll know tomorrow morning when, they said they'd have no problem getting the street patching done this year. So,
And just so I'm clear, they were the contractor we picked from the two.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
WW.
And we had two bids.
Yep.
Do we have to get,
In the minutes.
so they already gave us a bid, but are we comparing apples of apples going on South Holiday?
We are when we only look at the patching.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was all the other work that we weren't sure about.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else under unfinished business? If not, we'll move on to new business. Resolution 2022-10 Fireman Relief Donation. And this amount is what?
I don't know.
10,000.
$10,000. Do we want to do these individually?
Yep.
All right, somebody want to make a motion to accept resolution 2022-10 from the Good Thunder Relief donation for $10,000.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed, motion carried. Resolution 2022-9 donation from now disband GT committee. Is this at 4,200 and some odd dollars?
5614.
Discussion?
I don't like the way the motion or the resolution is worded in that. We are resolving, there is no longer this committee. And I'm not sure that's true. I'm not against taking the money, accepting the money, don't get me wrong. I'm just not sure that I don't like the way the resolution is worded. My opinion. And if we want to have Chris look at it or whatever, why we can table it and do it next month or whenever.
Sure.
I agree.
That's your motion to table it?
If no one else has got another idea or,
Anybody else with discussion?
I think.
because we have people sitting in the room that say they were on the committee and they, there's interest. I think there's interest. I don't want to make it like an official boom, it's over,
So this wasn't until like disband,
That's what it says.
yeah, maybe.
If the city
Disband, yeah.
keeps this money, which we can't keep it by resolution, if somebody would reform the Good Thunder Days Committee, could this ever be given back to them? Or would it be better for the individual to start another committee now and let that money go just from there and not even come through the city's hands?
In my opinion, my worthless opinion, it should come through the city's hands.
It should
Because then there's absolutely no doubt it's a city
sanction.
function. Yeah, no doubt.
If somebody wants to take it back over again,
Right.
get a committee going and do it.
All right, so somebody want to make a motion to table this?
I would make that motion.
Someone second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Okay, resolution 2000.
Ashley, then I'll have to get with Chris and see about rewording that. It's just, I just don't like the way it's worded.
Resolution 2022-07, erect stop signs on South Holiday. Discussion? Pros, cons?
I had residents say that they weren't in favor of it.
You weren't talking the same ones as me then.
Just telling you.
Just
No,
one
that's fine.
resident or-
No, everybody's got their opinion.
Pardon, residents? Yeah, okay.
Robert, talk about signs. Has anybody noticed our beat up signs down at the Ball Diamond?
Which ones?
Which one?
On the south side and on the north side?
What did it say?
They say Thunder Park, but they're getting all beat to hell.
Kids are beating them up.
So are they just a metal
It
sign?
looks like a
That,
big ball bean hammer and hitting,
Okay,
because
that-
it's got dents in them. The one at the Ball Diamond.
All right, well, thank you, Bob. We'll take that under advisement.
Put that on for next.
Are they the little
On the
ones that
agenda
show where it
next.
is, or are they the ones
They're
that we
the
ordered?
two-legged ones. They were just put up this year,
Last
years
year,
ago.
yeah.
last year.
They're a Luca Bond with a vinyl wrap.
Are they in view of the cameras?
Yeah.
One of them?
Within the last month.
I think so.
The one
check
10 or
might
11.
be. Nope, they're facing the other, well, the one in the back might catch it.
All right. Well, okay, back to the resolution at hand, erect stop signs. Somebody want to make a motion to accept resolution 2022-07 on South Holiday?
Well, it seems it would be a safer way.
I had complaints about it, so
why it wouldn't be a safer.
The thing is, that
Intersection.
once we approve it, and if someone blows it that lives in that street and a cop sees them, they're gonna give them a ticket. They've already had people talk to right away that first day. You know, someone was talked to for a long time.
Well, hopefully we
Because they
can,
didn't know they were there. We didn't post there was a traffic change, and when you've driven a road. Okay, Peter, and a lot of roads I rode bike on, now stop signs, and I drove right through them on cars. Because
Attentive driving. You can get a ticket for that.
I'm thinking, man, they switched all the one ways to two ways, and if you're not paying attention, you'll be going the wrong way down a one way.
Driving.
I get it.
I get it. I get it.
Hiller Drive, 2 years ago, when all that traffic was flying up and down there,
Yeah.
we tried to slow them down. We put the stop signs up because of this road being closed, and it slowed them down. Yes, some were still driving through it. Was there anybody issued a ticket? No. But it slowed the majority of the people down. Out here on this road here, people are flying up and down the road right now, probably 6 out of 10, well, no, probably 3 out of 10 do not stop, drive right through it. And nobody's gotten a ticket, but the general consensus is it slows most of the people down.
and we all agreed to those, especially when that road construction was going on, so.
Yeah.
Like I say, over there,
Go through all this.
Jake and I were out there looking at to get the power and the gas located. And we're standing by the fire hydrant, a guy come by us 40 miles an hour and honked the horn, and we know exactly who he is and where he lives. And he's probably complaining that we're putting him up. Well, we know he is. I think he was in here.
So anyway, back to resolution 2022-07. Somebody make a motion?
Can we do it this way? I'm just trying to meet the middle here. Can we say, we make a motion that we're gonna put them up in 2 weeks? So that
So
they
people
got
have
the
time.
notice, they got notice now.
Sure.
Put stop signs up.
Give it time to be in the paper.
And put it on the internet.
Actually,
Put it on the Good Thunder. Whatever page it is.
I mean, would that be okay?
Sure.
Sounds like a good idea, Tom.
Takes 2 guys to put him up, so it'll be okay anyway,
Well,
probably.
then you're in trouble because we don't have anybody to put them up.
I'll make a motion that we put them up in 2 weeks.
All right, Tom made that motion. Someone to second?
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose? Everybody aye?
Yeah,
Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Miscellaneous business. This reverts back to end of our file here. Complaints about the pieces of cement, barricades down there. I must say on what corner is it?
Sherman and Hope.
Sherman and Hull. You all have it in your folders. Input,
Are we gonna get it cleaned up?
I think it's all resolved. It's been cleaned up and the work has been done now, so.
It was all done.
yeah,
it's just, it was there for quite a while.
I actually picked up all the rubble. I actually moved all the signs because they were just dropped in the street. I moved them all.
you can't do that.
I'm just telling you.
I put them down there, Jim, and I can't do that either.
All right.
I just moved
Stop being
them
facetious.
I just moved them on the
Come on.
street so they wouldn't get run over.
Well, we appreciate then that you cleaned it up.
And the corner's been fixed up today. Do you think that that's to your liking? Is that gonna be all right?
That work. I wouldn't go down there and look at it all, so.
Personal equipment.
So, all the stuff was picked up. It's barricaded off. Only one thing, I can't find it right now. It states in here that, oh, does somebody have it?
we're looking for it.
That, we should contact other people to do our cement work. I believe when Mariano was hired, we had an individual, I thought brought to you brought it to our attention, Jim, from Cambria that gave us a bid.
We had 3 bids at that time.
Yeah, we did.
It's just a person from another town that reached out. I don't even know anything about this person reaching out. But it's like when we say we should hire a local. Well, you can't reach out to everybody, you know.
Well, the thing of it is, though, the comment in that letter is that it was my doing to hire that person. It was brought before this council voted on. So where does this individual get it that it's my decision?
Well, that's his opinion. I don't know this individual. What's that?
Her, I believe, her opinion,
Opinion.
yes. So
I don't know.
just putting that out there.
Am I supposed to know the contractor or what? I don't know.
Didn't you get this on the end of,
Yeah, I got a letter, but it talked about some contractor that voiced an opinion that he didn't get the bid on it.
oh, well, yeah, we can't,
Yeah.
I don't know who that is either. That,
we can't put it out there for everybody. I guess from now though, by understanding the lawyer, if you put it on Facebook, which everybody reads, is that a way of informing people of work gonna be done in the city?
Needs to probably be posted by code in the newspaper when we're entertaining for bids. And then code spells out what we have to on dollar value, and that has changed now too, so.
So in other words, if we do it the old fashioned way and put it in the post office and our posting areas and in our paper, we're fine, right?
Yep, and we might not get any bids.
Yep.
So that's why we've always kind of reached out to people for bids.
Yep. All right. The same person complained about the grass seeding. And it's all weeds. Was it seeded and seeded by who?
It says that, it doesn't say that the same person made that complaint.
Pardon?
It does not say that the same person made that complaint. Those are two separate complaints.
Well, it's Sherman and Hulk project. I just seen Sherman and Hulk, so.
the
Okay.
second, yeah, the second one doesn't have an address.
So I guess it was seeded. It didn't grow. I don't know what to tell you people.
It does look pretty rough, just,
Yeah.
Well, what you gotta do, what my daughter did was get daddy and her sister over there and we raked and raked and raked and hauled away the crap and reseeded. If you want it to look good. We don't have anybody to do it now.
well, that's what we had to do on our street too, but it's just too bad. Usually they reestablish the,
It was free to
the,
that point. The boulevards.
oh. Well, isn't it in general, when you do a project, you return it to,
And if we, like, our city employee would have stayed,
is that our
As
city
an
employee's job or is that the contractor's job?
no. it's-
That wasn't in the bid to reestablish?
No,
Okay,
I don't.
I just don't
I
remember.
didn't really have a scope of work for it.
No, not really.
no,
No,
no.
dirt hauled in there was provided from the city dirt pile.
Right.
For all, behind all the retaining wall, all that was provided
Yep.
to these landowners by the city of Good Thunder and the city employee.
Okay,
So,
And then it got, when he left, it dropped.
okay.
We just, my daughter's is
so do we
75% done. We got.
professionally have this hired done then?
We can.
Yep, we can.
Yep.
Yeah, who does?
We
do we
get a
do
couple of
hydro?
quotes, have to get a couple of quotes and.
Yep.
I won't finish my daughter's then.
Leave it there. So,
I mean,
No,
it's an unfinished job and we don't have anyone to do it. We need to finish it and we should do it.
yep,
I mean, that's the logical step. So, I don't know who would,
and the city will eat that cost then?
yes,
Yep, okay.
I mean, we'll just,
Can you find out who does this by the next meeting and then maybe we can reach out to them and see if they could come through town and reseed all this?
Yeah,
there's landscape guys all over. it.
yeah, there's a bunch of landscape guys, but whoever the county had do after the street project, that stuff seemed to, they sprayed
And the
that
hydro seed?
You're gonna hydro seed it?
hydro seed.
That'd be the best option. Get
Gotta get
it
smooth.
quicker.
You gotta get-
Check with a couple, just, I suppose it's not gonna be that much to,
Does hydro seed kill the weeds that are there now then?
No.
No, so they'll have to be, somebody's gonna have to.
somebody that knows what they're doing is gonna have to come in there and do it.
Okay, they'll come in and till it up
Or
or,
we can talk and talk and talk all night, make grass grow there.
Yeah.
Make it look nice when it's done,
Okay. That's what we'll do then. All right, anything else?
Well,
Tom had
I
pickleball.
was gonna say, can I talk about pickleball?
I've been hearing a lot about this and I don't know that much about it.
I don't know that much about it either. All I know is that it seems to be kind of a big thing. It's coming and it doesn't take a huge amount of room. Like it says here, 20 by 44. And you need a fence around it, 10 feet high.
So it'd
And
be more or less down there.
like down at, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
over here,
yeah.
You know, I guess originally I was thinking, where the
Basketball courts were?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cause we talked about that concrete or that blacktop being pulled out of there.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Or we talked about resurfacing it too, but
yeah, and it would have to be resurfaced and really done right for a pickleball or concrete, one of the two.
Yeah, it has to be pulled out. They've already told us that can't be relayed over.
Okay,
Well, it's gotta be tiled too again.
well, that's just it. I mean,
Wow.
we didn't do that because of
Slop it.
tiling or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we never got that done yet.
Well, there was a tile run along between the fence and the tennis
got
court, but
Tile, but not quite all the way over there.
yeah, I don't know how
gotta
far it
finish
went.
that yet.
this may be a senile question, but I don't have a smartphone, but what is pickleball?
It's basically a game kind of like tennis, only it's slower.
And the area is smaller.
There's a net and the area is smaller
I just kind
and
of pulled it up on my phone, but that's what it looks like.
I tried pulling up my phone, didn't work.
I have a smartphone, so I figured.
You got a big enough.
I was just looking it up too, because I have no idea.
Okay,
you see it in campgrounds and,
There's
you know, I
some
mean, old
deckers
people
that
can
play
play it.
Maple
Old people
River,
like
Maple
me,
River has like a.
a league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have leagues. It's like the softball for old people more, but young people play it too. You know, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know.
What size?
play it.
What size you saying?
20 by 40.
22 by 44 is
Oh,
the
you're
actual
gonna
court
maintain it
side,
right
but you'd
now.
have to have some more room than that, you know.
Once it gets built, it won't need that much
Okay,
maintenance.
I mean, just think about it and
Well, let's,
talk to people.
let's
about it.
figure out how much it would cost and
Yeah, yeah.
You know, your fence and your asphalt, you know, chances are, would it get done this year?
Well, no, probably not.
would you do asphalt or would you do concrete? Or does it have like a tennis padded kind of?
No, it's
surface?
concrete or asphalt.
I would rather have concrete personally.
Wouldn't it be
but-
better up at the city park so you have more eyeballs on it? Like where the teeter totters used to
I
sit?
would love to put it there, but we don't.
We don't
I don't know that, we'd have
That's
to
right,
ask
that's the
them.
Catholic
Love to
church.
put it there. Things get destroyed up there too.
I know, but I forgot it's the Catholic churches. But would they be okay with it?
Oh, probably.
You can never get a
Call them
hold
and
of
ask them.
anybody.
We've written them letters and we've never written back.
Well, what about beanbag, cornhole? I do that in the winter time.
Well.
You're not old enough.
There's horseshoes up here.
Is it still there?
They just need to be,
They're right by Jen's house, but they're probably like really overgrown. But there is.
some people will clean them out and go, I mean, we've cleaned them out before, it just
All the.
go up.
Yeah, you put all them slabs in there
No, I didn't do any of that.
on the horseshoe thing?
They're all
Yeah, we
broken
just
down.
took the
They're
weeds out.
all busted and scattered all over the grass there now.
Well, it's a good thing, like Tom said, it's maybe for the older generation, you know.
Well, and you know, I mean, it's for everybody, you know what I mean? It's more for everybody. You don't have to be a star athlete to, you know, be in a softball league, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can maybe do
it
it.
gives people
for
something to
fun.
do.
Yeah, Just
It's
for,
all over. They're talking about it.
yeah, it is. It's kind of all over.
Well, Mankato's building one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tory.
let's find out how much it costs. Maybe we can call another city and just ask them how much it costs
Rose door.
To have pickleball or to put a new court
to
in?
put a new court in.
We got it a quote 2 years ago, I think it was.
For pickleball?
No, for a new court because we were talking.
Oh, yeah.
This would be specific different size though, because that would be, you would have 3 of them down there probably.
How much have prices changed
Well,
since then?
Yeah.
What would you do with that same size so you can have a basketball court? Because once the school's gone, we're losing a basketball court. And the church is private property. So you have to look at that too.
Well,
Think
you know,
about it or
that's a
don't.
good point, though. You bring up a good point. Maybe we can add
Multi-use.
40 more feet on the end of it or something,
For a basketball.
That's not a bad idea.
Where the
Tennis,
instant
whatever.
gate rink used to
you
be.
know, or whatever number. I have no idea.
And where the basketball court is now,
See what a half court was.
get that
Right.
tore out.
Tom, why don't you work on that? Figure out that.
Is that what
There you
it
go.
records? And it's-
How much more property do we need?
We can look into it. It's gonna be August. We probably won't get nothing done, but we have all winter to look into.
That
Right, I mean, just,
kickball thing that the kids play at school. I don't know what it's called.
Is it up
This
at
is
the,
down by the little house, by the school.
I put
park that's
multi-use
blue and
court.
green. There's that little brown house that used to be the warming house, and in front of there was a huge ice skating rink. We
okay,
didn't get in trouble back in the day. It's these kids now that have nothing else to do. That was pretty cool, and it was ran by a man that lives right outside of town.
yeah, he did a wonderful job on it too.
Amazing.
Yep.
And then we had 2 or 3 years of it, didn't make ice.
No.
And then it kind of just went away.
And I remember when the cows pooped in there
Yeah.
during Good Thunder Days. Heck, yeah, I'll take 85. Poop there, buddy.
but you can't do that anymore.
I know.
All right, I got a couple of things out under miscellaneous.
You remember those?
The house,
Oh, yeah, we have any bites in the house?
No, but I did post it.
I went with her because I thought, we don't know if anybody's in there, like if she gets knocked out or something, maybe I should be outside. And we went in there and she took pictures and wrote it all up.
And I'm assuming you'll want to have an open house eventually, but I have not got one message
All right.
about offering anything. So it is on there. And I made a little flyer. If we
Nice
want to put it in the messenger, we can. It's on Craigslist.
So when the house moves, what's the plans for that space?
what'd you just say, Tom?
That's a nice looking picture of that house.
Oh, I thought you said something about, that's where the pickleball was gonna be.
No.
There you go.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment because I took that.
That could go there too.
So,
It does the house wonders.
Is there other pictures? She put other pictures on
Put a
there.
well right in the middle of it.
Well, at least it's posted. One other thing I have is the school. Where is the city of Good Thunder in the position of the school? It's been at least 3 months at least since we've talked about the school,
And it's up for sale.
and it's up for sale. That one of the school board members called me, said, but we as a city still could take it over. So chose. Is there any more interest?
Residents are still interested in it. They wondered why we didn't have a hearing and why we just decided not to do anything. I said, it's not, we didn't. We talked about it. We just haven't done anything.
I mean, we've had more issues, we're out of short of help. We got some issues here. That's what I told them. I says, it's still something we would love to look into. The individual that was here one night, is he interested at all? I tried calling him one day and he wasn't there.
I'm not 100% sure. He's invested a bunch of money in some equipment that they're using to build more stuff. So I could ask him.
I called down there one day to talk to him and he wasn't there that day and I did not get him called back. But anyway, is that something we need to keep pursuing this summer yet?
Is there anything different from the school? Their position? Or they just say, you either take it over or I
They've
mean,
got it for sale, and if we say no, they may sell it, and they're entertaining all offers. They've started, what's the offer that they're
it's
starting?
at $4.99.
$4.99 or something, but yeah, they want $500,000.
that would be the best thing. It would go private, but
We get taxes off them then.
But just remember that we don't have any say in what goes in there. But
oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, you
Well,
do.
except by zoning.
On zoning,
by zoning, you are correct.
Right.
We have regulations for certain things.
So I mean, you aren't gonna be able to have a,
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
we kind of went, that's one of the reasons why we're backed away a little bit too, is that we'd have to change our own zoning laws to make it work for the city.
say that the individual was here and he had some deliveries that came in a semi. Would we change it so that would be allowed, say two or three
It's allowed
or
now.
hard?
It's allowed now to go.
Yeah, because of the school.
yeah, they get.
Changed when it's not public property. If the school is public property, we allow it. If that got to be privatized, would we still allow it?
Yes.
I don't see how we allowed it. That would be different from anybody else.
Other than if you could post the roads and that would make a difference on what can get
Right.
in there.
Right,
Or restrict it to one way in and out. But there's another problem. You can't get turned around.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a good spot for a lot of things.
No.
It's a
They
poor
did it. I
spot.
mean, obviously they got semi trucks in there, but
It's a poor.
I think they turned.
They turn,
And then
turn,
back
turn,
up.
and they back up.
Yeah.
I guess where I was going was I wish that they would say something like, well, we have X dollars allocated for this demolition. Can we access some of that money?
But they can't. They told us that many times that money is earmarked for demolition only. And it's supposed to go back on the principal if they don't use it.
But if we could demolish part of the building with that money. And it's demolition.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an option, the demolition, the old part.
Well, just brought it up to keep it on top.
Tom, is that something we want to ask the school? If part of the demo money can go towards demoing part of the school? Like, I'm assuming you're.
I don't see why not.
I'd like to know that.
Somebody said
All
that
they can say is
they're gonna
no.
spend it on something else anyway.
That's the talk,
Yeah. It's supposed to be back.
There's a lot of talk.
We
Yes.
talked about having a community meeting early this year, you know, probably way back in January, February, to get input from the citizens. Still, would we still want to have that?
We
Get
should.
input. And that would give us more direction and talk to the individual that was here, see. You know, I thought, you know, everything has always got to have a couple people, but the lawyer talked that one night on property like that, if somebody wanted to buy it, you could sell it, right? Didn't you say that?
As long as you put it out there,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
I mean, you may have one buyer.
should we have a meeting to see what you, I mean, for a long time, I thought we could take that over, but no, we cannot afford that. You said that right from the beginning. We cannot, as a city, afford to take that over and run it. But we could sure as heck be one of the biggest renters of this gym and say the kitchen. And that could be guaranteed income to the individual that bought it every money like clockwork, every month like clockwork. That could be whatever that dollar amount may be.
There could be a public-private partnership there of some sort. That's true. But that's why I would really like to find out if maybe we could access some of that demolition money and not have the whole building to maintain forever and ever. Amen, you know.
But then do you demo the spot that's sinking or do you demo the?
You know,
Yeah. Tear the roofs off.
So, well, again, should we have a meeting? We said we were gonna do that back in January,
Have
February.
a meeting.
Yeah, we
We
can.
should post it and have a meeting.
Yep. Get it out there, Viva everything, so we get the input of the people.
When I asked permission if we could have a meeting
Could we have it at the school?
at the school, we just have to talk to them because they still did, you know, when I talked to them back when you guys were talking about it, they still do events, but and now they're probably loading the classrooms up. So, but I can, if you pick a day, we would just have to see if we can go in there.
That would be an excellent idea because if we had it in the gym.
Then people could check it out.
Where the community center could be.
Mhm.
So check that out, sir.
Okay.
Get that happening.
Do you want to pick a date tentative?
So you want to pick a date then?
I'm up. I mean, we have to see if the school allow it. Is there anything going on down there now yet?
I don't know.
Not really.
So I mean,
Seen
in
teacher.
other words, if we had it the first, you know, give 30 days notice to everybody that they got enough time, because if we have it 2 weeks, nobody told us, we
No,
don't know about
We
it.
did actually go 30 days. I agree with that.
30 days?
Yeah.
At least, yeah. And publicize it good or send letters out to every citizen. So everybody knows it.
Put it in the Maple River Messenger.
Yeah, but you probably got 40 people in town to get it.
Well, that's 40. that
No, it's
like
40.
me that'll
No, it's
get it.
40, but I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
but that's, you're not gonna hit everybody.
Right.
So,
Signs up at the local businesses.
Yep, good idea.
What,
A letter to every resident, I mean, what,
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, you can.
200 meters?
Do they have a move-in date for the new school yet? Sarah,
What's that?
do they have a move-in date? for the new
They
school?
talked about the first week in August. And
They
then,
said they were ahead of schedule on whatever.
yeah, I think there was a lot of groundwork to be
So
done.
then you might run into a mess if you go out 30 days.
You did like the 15th of August. That's the third week of August.
And that would be
Yeah.
almost a month from now, right? Not quite.
Yeah.
Be darn close.
Yep. That would be a month.
Yep, let's do it. Somebody want to make that motion?
Don't we already meet already? When else are we meeting there in August?
We're meeting in the 8th and the
About
22nd.
every week.
God.
Just wanted to be sure here.
It'd be Monday, the 15th.
Oh, Lord.
Monday,
6 PM, probably.
15th?
Get off work,
Monday the
isn't that right?
Yep.
okay.
I'd say probably 6:30. People get home around 5. They can have time to eat dinner before they come down, 6:37.
Would we ever just hold, like, we're gonna have a second council meeting? Would we just hold that down there and let the people in there? Just hold it down there and have it? We get done in 15, 20 minutes or an hour, and then we open it up for questions.
Let's just have it at school though.
Just having the school.
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
The other
you
thing.
might get 10 people, you might get 150. You know, so
And then if since we're going to do this, we need decent sound equipment so you can hear.
Yep.
I went to the school board ones. That's all you heard, you know? It was bad. It wouldn't have been for the slides, you'd have never known nothing.
Nope.
Even some of the rev ones they've had are like that too. You just can't hear. You gotta read their lips.
Yeah,
I just don't know what to do about it.
I don't know.
We'd probably have.
I mean, even when they had their little program down here at Christmas time, some of that was not very plain. Of
Mhm.
course, I'm deaf.
You get your echo too, you know.
Sound
Yeah,
system
we-
is not good.
We have an amp and a microphone and it's not good. We would have to rent something probably from A to Z.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you got,
That's what I mean.
You all would
Stuff,
have to
yeah.
be mic'd up, and if someone wants to speak, they need to come. to the
Somebody's got a band.
And you know, we could have it that way, so each individual that comes want to speak, they'd hold on to it, so everybody could hear their opinions or whatever.
They come to a standing mic.
Yep.
Yep. Stand up to a standing mic. yeah. But I don't know anything about that, so I don't even know who you call. I've never dealt with any of that, so, you know, and ask me.
I would say A to Z's got something or.
That
You just go like-
entertainment place there,
That's for
don't they have that stuff?
Yeah,
Rad.
Rod.
What is it?
TNT or something, or TN?
B and K?
G and K rentals.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one, yeah.
G&K
Yeah.
rentals.
You can also
Yeah,
talk
that-
to any of the karaoke people. They've all got the sound and mic on.
Oh, yeah. That's a
My
nice.
sister has a system, but
Are you friends with Shelley, Sarah, Aaron? She's got a croaky
she does.
and she's part of the school.
She is. Scared.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
That's not a bad idea.
That's a good idea.
Because then they could sing some songs too.
She would do.
She'd break out into tune immediately.
15th. I mean, we said 6:30.
6:30? 6?
No, not 6. I think that's too early.
Yeah.
Okay, 6:30 then.
You gotta make it so people.
Let's get to 7 with our usual meeting time.
I'm gonna email both Mr. Anderson and Mr. Simon right now.
So we need a motion to have Sarah ask the school, get it all done, put it on that date.
Yeah,
So
I move.
someone second,
Yep.
all in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed, motion carried. I think this will be good for everybody to get it out.
Yeah.
Once
Oh.
we get a date, do you want me to send to everybody?
It'd be the best way to do it. That way everybody knows it. You're not gonna hear anybody say, well, why didn't you tell me?
Yep.
You know, I'm
Messenger.
tired of that stuff.
Sure.
Anything else then under miscellaneous
long as
business?
we're
You had 7 manholes. You had a cleaning.
7 manholes and a curb cut is what you.
The curb cut we did, but the 7 manholes, do we get someone to back them out or?
Well, 4 of them are right down there by Sarah. So they're plugged so bad that you're gonna have to have a back, and then somebody's gonna have to be there to jetter clean all at the same time. The other one is down, the only way I can describe it is in front of David Carroll's his residence. The one on the west side of his house is completely plugged.
There's
I got it.
boning back there.
And then 2 up here by the park.
Yeah.
I got a letter today from DMI. They bought a vac. So they sent out letters advertising. that they
Dirt
got a vac.
merchants bought it back.
Okay.
Oh. I think the one by me needs to be taken care of too.
Oh, yeah, all 4 of them down
Say
there.
that, I'm sorry, I'm doing an email.
I just say they do them all,
Squirrel.
or at least.
Well,
them all.
No, you're taking water, but you don't have to do it.
But we don't want what's down in Sarah's there to go down the pipe because there's a lot of debris there.
Yeah.
We cleaned them out last summer. My guys did, but the pipe never got open. I thought maybe the water would do it, but it didn't because they're all plugged. 2 up here are plugged and 1 down there are plugged, so.
Peeking these, did these get whirly birds in them? These 2 out here? You know how they get so full of whirly birds? Are they
Yeah.
clear or no?
Well, I think that one down with David Carroll's will be all them leaves out them oak trees or walnut trees because they're fine leaves.
Yeah.
It went right in the drain. And that runs over and goes down to that property to the west of there, goes right down their hill towards their house.
Yeah.
So I can't believe they haven't called and complained because that one heavy rain, it ran right over and went right down to their house.
It's gotta get done. So even, I mean, Boney's got a vac, but I mean,
But we
They
need to
can't.
coordinate
right.
with affordable jetting.
Yep.
And bonings at the same time, or I guess ask DMI if they have the jetting capabilities along with the vac. 1 call,
Right,
1,
yeah.
2 steps.
Does Empire do that same stuff too? I mean, they've done all
Yeah, but
that stuff too. I bet
they'd
they
be
do more.
really high.
Yeah.
Coming out of cities.
This is what they sent.
There's an Empire in Mankato, right? They come out of Mankato.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, they do.
But
They've done a lot of
There.
work for us with the
Yeah.
flying and televising, so I just didn't know.
pretty sure.
Ability to run hose into buildings. I guess maybe, you know what?
You have to ask me as far as.
Municipal water main sewer breaks, sump catch basin cleaning, culvert cleaning, drain tile clean out. I guess this would be the person you call.
Talk to them, yeah, and see if they can get it all done.
There you go, Ron.
Hand in a phone bill.
What do you think that's gonna cost?
I have no idea. I don't know what boning costs. That's probably 100 an hour,
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
you know, or better with the pull type, you know, that isn't on that.
You need two,
Well,
yeah, you need two quotes.
Yeah.
and we need to maybe just like publicly say it, and maybe, I know you've posted it on Facebook, but people are mowing the grass into the road too. And it gets in there, so.
Yep.
I watched a neighbor do it the other day and it was thick.
Yep, I mean, it's something that they know better, but they do it. You know,
Easy, that's why.
I know.
all we can do is when you see them politely go over there and say, hey, you know.
That ends up in
thumbs
our,
up our drain.
I mean,
Technically.
could you ask
it is a
Nicole if
violation.
she would, if you had a name and an address,
Yep.
she'd go talk to them,
Yep, of course.
you know, and just, you know, warnings.
Mhm.
But a hope would be enough to
yeah, no.
get back on track.
Yeah, because I think last year what we did is we sent the residents a letter.
Yeah.
but-
Right, but I mean, if that don't work though, I mean, you know, if she'd go and knock on the door, that
Yep.
definitely help,
Uh,
or anybody else that she sends.
Well, anyway. So council's gonna give you direction then to seek two quotes for this.
I guess so, huh?
Well,
You got it.
I think you could call too, right? I mean, she
I
can.
could, but I don't know anything about that and I don't want.
No, I can call DMI and see what they got.
Coordinating on little worried
And,
about, you know.
Yep.
And then the other people we've worked with.
Affordable jetting
Yeah.
would be pretty good if you could associate with
boning.
boning, but then you'd have to get a quote. And then get a quote.
Yeah.
Right?
They can probably give you a quote over the phone on.
Yeah.
Hourly quote.
Hourly, yeah.
And that's what all it.
Because they won't know until they do. the job.
No,
Yeah, just an
where the
hourly.
tile goes and all that stuff. You know,
Yeah, I know.
like up here, it's only 100 feet, you know,
Right.
but down there it could be hundreds.
And then down there by you across there, that one that goes down there, that structure we
Yep.
put in, that's supposed to be cleaned out, and I probably ain't
I
been
think-
cleaned up for a long time.
I think Boning backed it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'll check, but it takes water really good.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause I was watching the other day when we got that inch and it never overflowed. It went right down.
All right, anything else under miscellaneous?
I just got an email drafted, just gonna say we want to have a council meeting there to allow for public comment one last time to just see what people's thoughts are. And we're not asking anybody from the school to be there, because that's what they always ask, because are they
I think it would
asking,
be, we need chairs,
we need chairs.
That one thing's open, we'll roll the thing down there.
whatever. I mean, as
Yeah,
long as they're still there.
they're usually, unless they took them out, they're usually. on that chair.
Wondering,
And if there's no chairs in the building, we'll have to go.
Bring your own bag chair.
Right. We'll have to hire some.
there you go.
The-
Bring
the
your own
fire
bag,
department
chair.
has chairs too. There's a couple of chairs that were up here.
Sure, I'd make the motion.
With that, there's one other problem. Did you bring coffee? Because there's no adjournment. So this is an all-nighter.
I so move. Anybody like to second that?
Somebody want a second adjournment? All in favor, say aye.
Hey, Sarah.
They probably just got like one
Adjourned.
over there.
Thanks, everybody.
I gotta chug it, I ain't gonna double sip.
Yeah.
Beer and brandy, man.
You guys sip now.
Bring Belton Doritos.
Chug it.
And I don't know where we should put this. I mean,
I think there's some, there's.
Yeah, there's stuff in that back. There's stuff in there, but if you want to put stuff out and put it up in there, you can.
well, I mean, it's just paper.
But if there's buttons.